Brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn.
Beautiful morning. Yeah, the sun in my morning.
Beautiful afternoon as well, and we welcome you into Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. Gabe's out today. Long plan around a wedding that he's going to attend with his girlfriend of some good friends, and we wish him the very, very best and can't wait till he's back in here with us on Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So that means you got a lot of me today, and you're going to have a lot of Bryant Dacus between now and 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a big, big part of it. 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone phone and text line. Get in the zone at AutoZone, 901-360-8255. We love your text. We're going to have open times for phones as well. If you'd like to be a part of this Friday football fiesta, I'm in Oxford for the Ole Miss-Arkansas game tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock kick. 9 o'clock pregame that you can hear right here on Sports 56 and 98.5, all down the line on the Learfield Network, Learfield Ole Miss Network. And it will be a crossroads game for Arkansas and Ole Miss, both having great Septembers. I've said I thought it was the greatest September in Razorbacks football history. Off the mat, the job that Sam Pittman has done in getting them back relevant and to beat, I think, still their biggest rival in Texas and to whoop them. And now you're hearing so much conversation about their Texas great running back, Bijan Robinson, and Heisman Trophy talk. He had 69 yards rushing against the Razorbacks. 69. So he's got to do something big tomorrow at Red River to really convince me. And Arkansas also had the big win over Texas A&M. So in the month of September, they won the whole Southwest Conference. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Arkansas, the Cotton Bowl. That used to be the cheer. They beat Rice. They beat Texas. They beat Texas A&M. And they started last weekend with a tough loss to a superior and really top-flight Georgia team at the same time, on the same day, rather, later. Ole Miss really got thumped by Alabama. I think Alabama and Georgia will be the two participants first weekend in December at the SEC championship game. But for the winner of this game tomorrow, Bryant Dacus, I have all my friends on both sides. Winner of this has the inside track to the Sugar Bowl, doesn't it? I don't know if I go quite that far, but it's a pretty good case they could make.
Yeah, and I think, we talked a lot last week about what if, both these teams could win against Alabama and Georgia, how big of a game that would be. But still, it's still a really big game because when you think about it, both these teams are coming off big losses to phenomenal teams, and both of them are going to be eager to try to get back on that winning streak. So I think it's going to be a hard-nosed game. I think it might be the game of the weekend.
I think it will be a hard-nosed game. I think it will be line of scrimmage, and most stereotype that is advantage Sam Pittman, advantage Arkansas. But Ole Miss is a running team. Again, led the SEC last year in rushing, first time since 1962. And this year, still a very good rush game. Neither one of them could do anything last week. I talked about how both defensive lines were really handled by the two-guard center combo for both Bama and Georgia. And then when it was reversed, how the Ole Miss and Arkansas guard combo around the center was absolutely destroyed. Now, they're going to destroy a lot of teams, but a fair fight for both of these teams tomorrow. We'll talk a lot of Tigers today. If late tomorrow night the Tigers have lost, that's 3 in a row. Brian, it's been a long time since we've had that conversation, and we'll have the conversations that would necessitate. That's for next week, though. Today, we're going to be on the happier, sunnier side for the late night tomorrow night, Tulsa time, 8 o'clock. That is a late game. I don't know. In my years of going to the games, I think that early start, like Arkansas has tomorrow at 11 against Ole Miss, that's very tough on the road team. But I'm not so sure sitting around all day and watching the games and eating, getting up to eat breakfast, and then going and eating lunch, and then going to tape, and then finally the pregame. I mean, you get all 3 square meals. Yeah. And then you're going to need a late night snack before you, and they do, and everybody will get a snack box or a food box as they get on the plane late tomorrow night. I almost think that 8 o'clocker is worse than 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, and I know I've heard a lot of coaches say that when they have those games, especially on the road, they, let their guys sleep in. They don't get them up till about 10 or so to try, because if you're waking up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, by the time kickoff, you've been up for 12 hours, you're ready to go to bed.
That's a lot of nervous energy.
Yeah.
That is a lot of nervous energy all day. And, a long time ago, in a time so far away that we hardly can imagine now. Bryant, there was a time where networks would call the schools and go, hey, we want to carry your game. Well, good. It starts at 1 o'clock Saturday. they would accommodate you. And, well, the zeros.
How times have changed.
Oh, yeah. And it's been a long time that has changed. But, the days of, kind of 1 o'clock kickoffs, those are over. And that was really pretty much the standard starting time for a lot of places. A lot of places didn't have lights.
Yeah.
It wasn't lights at Oxford for a long time. It wasn't lights at Starkville and Fayetteville for a long, long time. And that has moved on as well. And we're into the modern times, and we play when TV tells us. If they tell us on a 20-minute notice, we want you to start at 4:17 a.m., that's what time you'll start.
Oh, yeah.
Because the checkbook talks. We will talk a lot of college football today and some NFL football, but also some baseball. At 3:30, we'll visit with Alan Bell from CBS Sports on the NFL and some baseball conversation and all things with the Vegas perspective with him. He has had a great year so far on the air, picking games with us on Friday afternoon, 3:45. It'll be entirely Tigers and Golden Hurricane. If you want to jump in then, wait till then to call us at 360-8255, you can. You can always text us at 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone text line. It'll be entirely Tigers Tulsa talk at 3:45. At 4 o'clock, Memphis mainstay Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet will join us, and we'll get him to tell where he's joining us from today. The man of international mystery, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. He's also off to a great start on Friday afternoons with us. Drew Barrett, our friend, who is now in Fort Smith at ESPN Radio in Fort Smith, covering the Razorbacks and the SEC. We visit with him at 4:30, and we always get his Tigers football pick, as he is a proud alum and loves his Tigers. I think he's going to the game tomorrow night from Fayetteville or from Fort Smith to Tulsa. I'm going to say about 2 hours for him tomorrow, so he can get over there in plenty of time.
That's not too bad.
4:45 SEC and top 25 conversation at 5 o'clock. Longtime friend of a lot of people in this town. He was here for a long time at the Commercial Appeal, was a fantastic preps writer, was great on the beat for the Canadian Football League that one summer of that. He was about the best part of that. Thomas Harding from MLB.com will join us. By day, during the regular season, he covers the Colorado Rockies. He's on the beat as all hands are on deck now for the baseball playoffs. And Thomas will join us from Oracle Park in San Francisco, where he's going to cover the Giants-Dodgers series. And that might be the two best teams in all of baseball going at it in that one. At 5:30, our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. We go over and break down a lot of the area games, and we wrap it up at 5:45 with Taco Bell Crunch Time. As always, no matter where we are, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. Relax at Home sale going on now at Family Leisure. Enjoy a game of pool or shuffleboard with friends and family. Relieve aching muscles with full-body massage chairs. Chill out and watch a movie or the big game in style with the new theater seating. Also on sale, spas, saunas, patio furniture. They've got it all. Anything you want for the great outdoors in the patio pool area, they have it at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. So how hurt is Russell Wilson?
I don't know. I don't think he's that hurt. I heard it was a bad sprained finger. So I've never had a sprained finger, so I don't really know.
I've had broken fingers,
yeah.
And I can't imagine trying to grip. Is it on his throwing hand, right?
It's the middle finger on his throwing hand.
Ew.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have a big wrap. He's gonna walk around constantly like he's shooting everybody the bird again, because it's gonna be a big wrap around it. And they missed him late. That was a good game last night. Both you and Gabe, y'all nailed it. Y'all had the Rams, the 2.5-point favorites on the road. They get there. I had Seattle, so good picks by you guys last night. That was a fun game to watch. The baseball playoffs Not that scintillating yesterday. It was pretty matter of fact in both games. And now we have Randy Arozarena.
Mm-hmm.
What another special night for him.
Yeah, I mean, October's his month. It just seems like every time October rolls around past 2 years, he's been the biggest name.
There was a guy at one time that got a nickname named Mr. October out of October.
Yeah.
He was good all the time. Randy Arozarena has been good all the time. When I watched him come through at AutoZone Park as part of the St. Louis Cardinals farm system with the Memphis Redbirds, this is why I'm not a scout. I wouldn't give you a nickel for him doing anything close to what he's done.
Yeah, and I mean, you see a lot of guys like that, but I think we've talked about that. The Rays, something about their scouting department, something about how they look for talent. They just are able to find guys.
They really do. If the Rays call you and want to make a deal, hang up for your own sake. Or how about this? Why wouldn't – now, I'm still waiting. I still think something breaks with either or Brian Cashman or the field manager, Aaron Boone.
Mm-hmm.
And you would never do this with your established, long-time guy, like a guy like Brian Cashman that has delivered for the Yankees. Now, he's handed all the money you can think of, and you go out and get whatever you need, but he's delivered a lot of winning for them. I don't think anybody can rip on his stint as the boss of the New York Yankees. So he probably would be resistant to something like this. You almost could put John Mozeliak of the Cardinals in this same box that, he's done it his way for a long time. Don't be telling him too much how to do his job. But their successors, if they were either one of them out of job and new team came in, why would you not hire every single person employed by the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah.
And go, now, here, you keep doing what you've been doing on that baloney budget, and we're giving you caviar budget.
Yeah, and, I mean, you kind of wonder that. I mean, you see teams do this with players all the time, go into these smaller markets and get the guys that aren't being paid as much. So you'd think they'd be able to do it. I think it's just we're kind of starting to see it now with the Rays, all their young guys. We haven't seen it too much. You look back 5-6 years ago. It's starting to come now. So I would be interested to see if this year, next year, if we start seeing some of those guys kind of get called by some of these other bigger name teams.
That Chris Archer trade is one that will go down. I mean, it's the Powerball that keeps on giving for the Rays, just the multiplier effect from it. Right now in the game going on this afternoon, I think I got it at 2-2. You have updated score on that?
I also have it at 2-2 right now.
I'm not near a TV screen. 2-2 Astros and White Sox.
Oh, I'm
tied.
sorry. I just got an update. It's 4-2 White Sox in the middle of the fifth.
Here comes Don Tony's team to even it up against mean old Dusty Baker. I love both of those guys. Tony Russo, one of my favorite sports people of all time. But I've grown. Now, spirit of full disclosure, when he took those Cubs pinstripes off, I could learn to like Dusty Baker a lot more. But as I said yesterday, two war horses that I just love. I believe in coaching, and I believe in managers, coaches, and I think it matters. And this from the Arkansas game notes, and our friend Kyle Parkinson that was forever with the Memphis Redbirds and just one of the terrific people of all time. He runs the Arkansas Football Sports Information Shop now, and he had this in their notes this week. And it's titled Turning Things Around. Sam Pittman, who inherited Arkansas program that had posted 3 consecutive losing seasons, is one of 14 SEC coaches in history to take over a team with a losing record and lead it to the top 10 in the AP poll in their first 2 seasons. Listen to the names in the history of the SEC that Sam Pittman has joined in this turnaround. 1984, LSU Bill Arnsparger. 2018, Dan Mullen, Florida. 2013, Gus Malzahn at Auburn. All these people did it in the first season. 1998, Houston Nutt at Arkansas in his first season. In the second season, Houston Nutt did it again at Ole Miss in 2009. John Howard Vaught, 1948 at Ole Miss, did it in his second season. 1965, Vince Dooley, and he was only about 30 years old when he did it. He did it in his second season. Bowden White in 1956, 2 years after driving that Cadillac from Arkansas to Tennessee to take over for the General. Red Sanders at Vanderbilt. Give me everything you know on Red Sanders, Bryant.
His name is Red Sanders.
That's all I got to it. It makes us even. 2008, Nick Saban. 2021, Sam Pittman. 2010, Gene Chizik. You don't want to join him in anything. 1940, Alan McKean at Mississippi State. And I think he took the Mississippi State job after leaving the University of Memphis. 2002, Dennis Franchione. 1959 in his second year after Mama called Bear Bryant. In 2001, Nick Saban did it in his second year at LSU. That is elite.
Yeah, that's a good group to be in. For
Coaching
sure.
matters, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. And I know a lot of people questioned that hire when it was first made, but he's proven some people wrong.
I didn't question. I think my reaction was, okay,
yeah.
worth trying.
Yeah.
Because Bob Holt, their decorated beat writer, and I mean just savant about the history of Arkansas football, he said it right today in a Q&A with Parrish Alford and the good people at the Daily Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. He said, it just wasn't a long line of people that wanted that job. If the story's accurate, as it went around these parts from a lot of people that are in the know, Mike Norvell didn't want anything to do with it. He said there's just no way that you could win there. You could win what he wanted to win. Well, who's won more so far?
Yeah. Sam Pittman would win that competition.
So far, he has. This weekend, NFL Week 5, it started last night. It's here, and FanDuel Sportsbook wants you to get the most out of every single play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. Chargers and the Browns this weekend, it will be fun. Justin Herbert to throw all over the Browns. The money line, the Nick Chubb rushing yards. You can have a lot of fun with same-game parlays, fast payouts, easy to use, safe and secure. America's #1 sportsbook. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet. So lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook and get up to $10 back if your bet doesn't win. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, you also can claim your 30-1 odds on either team to win in the Monday night game. That's the Colts going back to Baltimore. Just sign up with promo code CASH, and if your first bet loses, you get up to $1,000 back in site credit. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and on the web. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the great people at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis, and that is appropriately Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Great offers on all 2021 models, the 2022s at the ready, and special leasing options always. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking, and more importantly, you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. The one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
You first, Bryant.
Top story of the day.
All right.
You first, Brian.
Yeah.
It's in stereo.
Yeah. So my top story of the day is the story going on with the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier this week. I don't remember exactly what day it was, but Kyrie Irving, he said he's not getting the vaccine, and he hasn't been able to practice with the team. I know the team has talked about going and practicing somewhere else so that he can practice with them, but it was came out today that he's going to be ineligible for tonight's game in New York. And they talked about it, how, earlier the mayor said that no professional player, they all have to show vaccination before they can play. So we're really getting close to the start of the season. I'm really interested to see, if Kyrie decides to get the vaccine before the start of the season, or if he just says, I'm going to wait it out and not play. And then the biggest thing is, what do the Brooklyn Nets do in that situation?
And here we are. He's a good case study of where we are. They have mandated to him, if you're going to play home games, you're going to have to get it. You can argue the civil libertarian side of it. It's been argued. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do it here. It's not what we do. Well, we don't do it very well at all. No. It's not close to what if I do anything best, that's not it. I think everybody is beat to an utter nub on vaccine, pandemic, COVID. At this point, I'm double vaxxed. I'm gonna be first in line to get the booster. In fact, I got a whooping cough vaccine today. About a month ago, I got a flu vaccine. I'm very pro-vaccination.
Right.
If you don't want to, if you don't think it's for you, okay. I'm so ready to move on. Now that said, the pandemic's not moving on.
No, it is not.
It is. Last night I was at an event and the invocation, and it was a beautiful prayer that we pray for the end of this pandemic soon, but it may not come soon. The answer to that prayer could be no, and I want everything to get back to 2019 world, but it's not. And I don't want to crush Kyrie Irving. I do think he tries a little too hard to be the world's smartest man. Did I just crush him after saying I didn't want to crush him?
Not too bad.
Okay. I do think he tries a little too hard. Boy, he is big into that 10 months he spent at Duke, isn't he? at Duke Brotherhood. How many hours do you think he got at Duke?
Definitely the minimum. I don't know how much the minimum is at Duke, but it might have been under the minimum.
To play, to be eligible for the spring, he probably had to at least have. And I don't even know if they do hours. I don't know how Duke does it. Would you say 9 or 12?
I'd say probably about 12. I'd say he might have gotten 9.
Knocked off, say 3 at summer school. Do they even have summer school at Duke? I don't know that either. I mean, I don't know that either. But again, Kyrie Irving, to each his own. My top story. And back on, we'll see if the Tigers can get back on track. It's Crossroads Saturday for the Tigers. Win, and they will be back on track. Lose, and the idea of not a very tidy conversation will be had next week. 3-game losing streak. When was the last time we had that around here? And if last week felt empty for them, that short week before playing Navy, next week will really feel different. Big stakes in Oxford, Ole Miss and Arkansas. Winner, I think, could be on the inside path to a 8-9 win season. Maybe more. I don't know, but for sure 8 or 9. Almost no way for the defeated team to have 8 or 9 wins. I don't think. I think if that many frailties, if that many things are shown to the rest of this SEC, somebody will figure them out a couple of more times, and it'll be tough for them. And we know this: somebody tomorrow's going to have a 2-game losing streak. That will be sobering. That will be humbling to two groups that sailed along in September, rightfully so, Bryant.
Yeah, and I think this weekend's big for a lot of the local teams. You know, a lot of them, like you just said, trying to get back on track. It'll be interesting to see, because once you lose that 2 games, one of the 2 teams, they're going to have their back against the wall in the SEC.
Not top story of the day.
So my not top story of the day is this really scary story last night in the Arkansas State game. Defensive back Sammy Johnson was carted off. Thankfully you don't see as much of that in college football, but it was a scary scene. I didn't actually see the play. I know he was chasing down a Coastal Carolina offensive player. I think it might have been their running back. I was flipping around. I came back. They were in break because I think they were on a 10-minute break carting him off. So very scary. I know he came out today, posted on social media saying that he was all right. He was doing better. He was thanking everybody for their support, but definitely a scary scene last night.
Good deal. And I was very dubious of the Vegas posted over and under for season wins for Arkansas State. Remember, that was 3, and I made mention a couple times that seemed like Blake Anderson probably knew when to get out, and Butch Jones probably has a tough job ahead of him. And Coastal's really good, and Coastal could be the darling again this year of the group of 5 teams. My not top story, are we ready to declare a new Mr. October? Move aside Reginald Martinez-Jackson as clutch player ever. He loved the limelight. He was cocky as all get out, and he backed it up, Brian. It was so much fun watching him play, whether it was with the A's or that short season, half season with the O's, or the real prime time with the Yankees, at the end with the Angels, and I think even at the end he got back to the A's. But he was still good with the Angels after the run in New York. He delivered in big moments as much as any athlete I've ever seen. Move over for Randy Arozarena, Mr. October. He's the first ever to hit a home run and steal home plate in a postseason game.
And that stolen home, that was fun to watch.
Ever's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a very long time.
It's been a lot of baseball played over the ever mark. Memphian Tim McCarver, who ran well for a catcher, and he didn't like that title. because he could run. He was a great high school football player at Christian Brothers here. He didn't hit a home run in the game, but he stole home one time in a World Series game.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Tim McCarver, just one of the great athletes ever, one of the great guys ever. And everybody, Dan McLaughlin does it out of such love. And I've had Leslie Visser on a couple of times with us, and she worked with Tim at CBS. They all do. Everybody tries to do the Tim McCarver kind of shrill, squeaky voice. I don't think it's that shrill or squeaky, but they all do it. Dan McLaughlin does it well, but he does it out of love.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Yeah, but Tim McCarver, great player, great broadcaster. He stole home, but he didn't hit a home run in that game. Randy of Rosarena, he did. When we come back, we're going to talk all things Vegas, mostly on the NFL, with our friend Alan Bell from CBS Sports. Again, if you got a game you want us to ask him about, or Bruce Marshall about, or us about, hit us up at the text line, at the AutoZone text line, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at the AutoZone phone and text line. When we come back, Alan Bell from CBS Sports on all things wagering this weekend.
It's a new show with a new time, but Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane are back with Sports 56 Grind Time. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
At Napa, we've teamed up with AAA to save you 20% online or in-store. That's why they call us the Savings Dream Team. Okay, we're the only ones calling us that, but it's true. Your AAA membership can save you 20% at Napa. So we're basically superheroes with the most specific power ever, saving you 20%. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. 20% off regular retail prices with valid AAA membership card. Offer good online at participating stores. Offer ends 10/31/21.
The Relax at Home sale's going on now at Family Leisure. Enjoy a game of pool. How about shuffleboard with friends and family? Relieving aching muscles with full body massage chairs. They're the coolest. Chill out and watch a movie. Or the big game in style with the new theater seating. Also on sale, we got spas and saunas and patio furniture. It's the Family Leisure Relax at Home sale. Going on now, I-40 and Wynn Road, Family Leisure. Where family and fun come together.
Installing brand new carpets shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Enjoy a simplified installation experience at the Home Depot by licensed local professionals with an unbeatable selection of affordable styles, colors, and fabrics that are durable and low maintenance, including options that are odor and stain resistant. And right now, you can get your carpet installed for free. Get started today at the Home Depot. Free carpet installation on purchases of $4.99 or more. No square foot minimum. Excludes in-stock styles. U.S. only. See store for details.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the
Gabe back with us on Monday. We wish him well and hope he has a lot of fun celebrating with good friends this weekend for their wedding, long planned. really have loved our first week and last Friday, and we're going to do it again next week. We welcome Gabe back then, but Bryant Dacus back in Memphis in the studios. I'm in Oxford getting ready for Ole Miss and Arkansas tomorrow, but wherever we are always in our Family Leisure studios. And every Friday at this time, we always have Alan Bell with us from CBS Sports, and he is off to a great start this year. Alan Bell just picking games with us on Friday afternoon. How about these percentages? Okay, college 9-7, NFL 12-6 on Friday afternoons, just for giggles with us, 21-13. How about that, my man?
How about that indeed, baby? I love it.
Very good stuff. And within the last hour, you tweeted that Lane Kiffin is 72.7% against the spread in his last 11 as a favorite. He is a favorite tomorrow. Let's start there. Razorbacks and Ole Miss. Ole Miss about a 5.5, 6-point favorite. Alan Bell's breakdown of that game here in our area.
Yep, I love Ole Miss in this game, especially being at home. I know that, both teams had a tough one last week. Ole Miss against Alabama, Arkansas against Georgia. But look, I feel comfortable in Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss bouncing back. It's at home. It's an early game. I think there's going to be a little residual stink on Arkansas here, especially on the road early. They could catch them sleepwalking, and that's all Lane Kiffin needs is an inch, and he'll take a mile. So, yeah, give me Lane Kiffin and all of that. Ole Miss, that's one of my best plays.
Ole Miss laying the points tomorrow morning bright and early. Brian and I were talking about this. How much do you, as handicappers, as people that break down the games and really dive in them, the 11 o'clock local time kick or the 8 o'clock? Which one's the bane of handicappers?
Well, those early ones, generally you can get good trends, right? There's in the NFL right now, the story is, the early set of games and unders. And it's kind of the opposite in college. So I would say, the early games in college, that's your answer right there.
All right, with that, so that's early, late, 8 o'clock tomorrow night in Tulsa. The Golden Hurricane, they are favored over the Memphis Tigers. Memphis absolutely stole one there 2 years ago against Tulsa. Tulsa about a 2.5, 3-point favorite. Your assessment of that game?
Yeah, give me Memphis here. And look, Memphis is a better team than people give them credit for. They just had kind of an odd schedule this season, and there's been some up and down games, right? Especially in the last 4 weeks or so. But I believe in this team, especially if you're giving me points. I think that they're going to make it a competitive game. They might not win, but I think it's going to be tight. So, yeah, if you're giving the Tigers the points, I'll take that all day.
So going back to the SEC, we saw last week Georgia with a huge line. I think it closed at either 19.5 or 20. I just thought that line was too big against a ranked team. They got another ranked team this week against Auburn, another big line, minus 15 for Georgia. What are you thinking in that one?
On the road, too.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Look, I treat Georgia, I look at Georgia the same way I look at the Buffalo Bills. All right, the Buffalo Bills had a spread of 17.5 last week. They won by 40. All right, like that's what this team does. And Georgia, if they had an offense like, a high flying pass offense, I'd probably fade them in this spot. But they just run the ball. Like you just can't stop doing that, right? Like that's the bread and butter. And there's no reason for me to stop riding them now. They've been money. They came in last week only giving up 5.8 points per game, and that number got better this week, right? So, there's no reason to stop betting Georgia now, and I don't necessarily believe in Auburn's offense at all. Their defense is all right, but their offense is no. Heck no, man. Give me Georgia all day.
All right, you mentioned the Buffalo Bills, so let's jump to Sunday. We jump all the way to the Sunday night football game on NBC. Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. This was the AFC Championship game just about 10 months ago. Bills and the Chiefs at 7:20 Sunday night. Kansas City, a 2.5-point favorite. This is two big-time quarterbacks.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? They got the wrong team favorite here. Buffalo has an offense that's equal or better than Kansas City. And their defenses aren't even close. Buffalo has the number one scoring defense in the NFL. Kansas City, the last, 32. It's the worst in the NFL. We saw Philly do whatever they wanted, really, offensively against Kansas City. Kansas City just got one stop. I think Buffalo rolls all day in this game. Look, Kansas City hasn't covered in 6 straight home games. Buffalo, their last 3 regular season road games, they won all 3 of them by 22 points or more. And here's your biggest factor, is the motivation. Buffalo knows that if they win in Arrowhead in October, they don't have to go back in late January. Kansas City's probably going to Buffalo in that AFC Championship. So, yeah, give me the Bills.
Great point.
Give me the Bills all day.
wrong team favored. Alan going way back in Memphis sports talk radio history. Back in the dark old days when we had to act like nobody was betting and we had to say for news manner only and for sports information only. And if let's all act like nobody does this. There was a handicapper here and he was great in the day. Greg Roberts, he'd go wrong team favored. And it was great radio. I love it when it goes wrong team. Brian, I know you got a game.
Yeah, so we just touched on the latest game Sunday night. What about the earliest game on Sunday across the pond
Real
in
early.
England? Jets Falcons. How do you kind of approach that game being across the pond, being
at the home of the Spurs?
Yeah, and both these teams, home time it's going to be about 9:30 in the morning. How do you approach it as a handicapper?
Yeah, so I look at it first as the game. All right, let's just look at the two teams, take everything out of it, and just look at the two teams. All right, you got a Jets team who got their first win last week against Tennessee. All right, I don't think their offense is going to show up. I think that's not the normal. You see an Atlanta Falcons team that really can't do much of anything offensively or defense. It's not a good defense. Okay, so that's if you take it to that 30 for their body class plus that travel. Give me the under 45 in this game. I don't think that this is going to be high scoring at all. And if you look, 7 of the last 8 games played in London all hit under. The only one that didn't was the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's basically their second home, right? So, yeah, I'm going to go with the under all day. I think that's the play. Stay away from those teams. You don't know what you're going to get, except not a shootout.
Under 45 in Jets in Atlanta, 8:30 local time for us on Sunday morning. Alan, I always kind of, and this is a little selfish, I know for the fans of those teams, they hate it, especially for Atlanta this year. It took out from season ticket holders to have an opportunity. But on Sunday morning when I'm driving home from college, I kind of like listening to these games bright and early.
I do too. I mean, you're totally right. In terms of fans that lose a game and things like that. But I think it's cool. The players kind of like it. At first they didn't, but now they get a trip overseas. It's something different. It's cool. I'm with you. Any way that I could get more football, I'm going to say yes to more football.
Me too. I've got 2 veins. I wanted IVs going through both veins, don't you? In both arms. All right, Packers and Bengals, both teams 3-1, kind of the tale of 2 quarterbacks. The quarterback that's going to stroll right into Canton in Aaron Rodgers against the second-year guy, Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner. Green Bay, a 3-point favorite on the road in Cincinnati on Sunday at noon.
Yeah, surprising line there, right? It's pretty small. You would think you could have 3 squares. You'd think it'd be a little bit more. But it goes to show the Cincinnati team is good. And it's not necessarily offensively. It's defensively is what is being led by this team. So I would take the Packers, but there's a little trepidation here because Cincinnati's good. I really love Joe Burrow. He's an excellent quarterback. But, it's pretty rare that we get the Packers with a small line, whether home or road. Yeah, give me the Packers.
Now, Alan, I must tell you, we always, for all our picks, when we do picks at 5:30, when we have you on, we have other handicappers on, we have Bruce Marshall from the Goal Sheet always with us. We always add a half point because we don't have pushes in our world. So I'm going to have to throw that half point on you in Green Bay minus 3.5. Is that allowed?
Yep, absolutely.
Alan, please tell me you're sitting in a suite on Sunday night, and Mick Jagger's going to come by your suite and say hello to you at the stadium in Nashville.
I wish. Those pictures of him on Twitter just walking around Nashville is pretty cool. It's funny that he went to a nice park. He went to the tight stadium, and then he went to a recycling plant. I didn't really understand why he went there, but I guess Mick Jagger, he's big. He's a big environmentalist, I guess.
Well, he is, and along with Joe Namath, the coolest humans that have ever lived.
Yep, absolutely.
Bryant, you got a game? One more.
Yeah, so talking about Nashville, Titans minus 4.5 in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. I know the Titans, they've had some issues starting the season.
That's in Jacksonville.
That's why, did I not say Jacksonville?
Yeah.
So, yeah, in Jacksonville, they've had some issues, some injuries. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, I love the Titans in this play. Look, if you go back to the beginning of last season, okay, whenever the Titans lost a game that they were the betting favorite, you know what they've done in the game after? They are 100% straight up and 100% against the spread. They are lethal in these spots. Mike Vrabel does not lose 2 games he should win in a row. His back against the wall. The man fights back, and the team responds to it. I love him in this. If you look at Derrick Henry, no team in the NFL has faced the brunt of him like the Jaguars. Already in Derrick Henry's young NFL career, he's rushed for over 1,000 yards against them alone, and he has double-digit touchdowns. You add in that they've got some help coming back on the offensive line. A.J. Brown is coming back at wide receiver. Give me the Titans all day. And that's not even talking about Urban Meyer or that situation. Nothing to do with that. Titans, this is their game to bounce back.
Yeah, Alan, the Titans 2-2. Week 1, it was a surprise that day, but now you can justify and you can explain losing to Kyler Murray in Arizona, losing to the Jets in overtime. How rough has it been locally? Because I picked the Titans to be in the Super Bowl, and I know in Nashville a lot of people are ready for it to pay off.
Yeah, trust me, radio airwaves here in Nashville weren't kind this week, right? Like, everyone knew what that loss was. And, they're going to have to get healthy, man. Like, their offensive line, is just destroyed, last week. It's coming back this week. But, yeah, I mean, Ryan Tannehill taking 7 sacks. It was just an awful performance. But it goes to show, when we were talking about that London game earlier, the Jets' defense is better than people give them credit for. That's not a bad defense. Like, the Titans, offensively, they stunk. A lot of that was on them, but a lot of that was on the Jets' defense, too. They're pretty good.
Alan, we talked about all these games. Anything from college or the pros you'd like to give away to our listeners, and then tell our listeners how they can access more of this information? Y'all are rolling this year. You are with us on Friday afternoon, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. What a great year you're off to.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, 2 plays, really. Alabama first half to Texas A&M. You get it at 10.5, 11. Look, they're 4-1 against the spread. They're like 20-3 against the spread the last 3 years in the first half. They just roll all over people. Also, Iowa -1.5 against Penn State. That place, Kinnick Stadium in Iowa, is going to be a madhouse. And Iowa has the best defense in the country for a reason. And Penn State doesn't have a great offense. You're getting that at 1.5. Trust me, Iowa does not play around, and they're definitely not going to in this one. Yeah, you can find me at sportsline.com. We really want to give all bettors the edge. If you want to give it a shot for 30 days free, use promo code SPORTS, and take 30 days free on me.
All right, what about baseball this weekend? Anything grab you from the Major League Baseball playoffs?
I'll tell you what, I love it so far, and I'm going to watch some of the Braves here in just a bit.
Yes.
I'll tell you what's been fun, man. Yeah, betting over so far, because we're getting really small numbers here, 7, 7.5, 8, and you got some teams that are hitting. I'm so excited to watch this Dodgers-Giants series start tonight. I'll have better info for you next week once we kind of get a week in. But baseball's been great so far. Tough one for the Cardinals. I got a lot of friends who are Cardinals fans. I hated that for them. But, baseball, I love postseason.
Love the baseball today. Four games today, and that's what makes it fun. Alan Bell, you make it fun with us every Friday afternoon, and we sure appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks,
Good
Alan.
luck.
Hey, y'all too. Appreciate you, boys.
You got it. Alan Bell with us from CBS Sports every Friday afternoon. And that Cardinal-Dodger game, Bryant Dacus, did you see that TV rating? That was a big number. And I'm ready to see the rest of the playoffs, because I know it's playoffs. I know that's the best time of year. But you can go a lot of places around the old Twitter machine and around the talk radio machine, near and far. And to some, I mean with the dripping derision, the hatred they speak of baseball. There's a lot of people out there that if they could click their heels together, they would make baseball and any of us that like it disappear. Too bad we ain't going anywhere.
No, and it's been fun. The games we have seen, the few, they've been really fun. I hope they keep it up. I actually had a friend over to watch the Cardinals game. He not a baseball guy. At the end of the game, he said, "When's the next baseball game? I want to watch the next game." I said, "Oh, well, come on over."
Now, did you tell him this is the best? This is the good stuff. This is the best time of year. There's a lot of games in June, and that's part of the long march of baseball. I like everything that most criticize about baseball is what made me a baseball fan. The long season, sometimes the long game, the failing.
Yeah.
You go 1 out of 4. It's 1 out of 4 is not a great night, but it's not too bad. And there's a lot of losing in baseball. I mean, even with the Dodgers and Giants, they lost a lot of games. They won more than they lost, and they played at a pretty serious clip all year. But all that stuff that gets so ripped, are you surprised? Does it hit you like that, or am I being too sensitive because I love it so much? And I do hear it, and it irritates me.
Yeah, no, I get it too, and I have a lot of buddies who I'll say, hey, I'm going to watch a baseball game, or hey, I'm going to a baseball game, and they'll say, well, why are you doing that? There's other things you can watch, and it's just, I think I'm like you. It's just something about the game and how long it is and how the ups and downs and the flow of the game. I just love it, and it's fun to see how many people come around once playoffs start.
And if you hate it that much, why do you even bring it up?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I mean, now I say all the time, I love all this stuff we talk about. I like the seasons. I like, you yield from one season, you go from one season to the next. There are some that I like a lot more than others. Mm-hmm. I make that clear, the ones I like. But even those others that get into their drudgery times, their times that I'm not enjoying it as much, I don't ever run it down.
Right. Yeah, no, and I'm the same way. I don't get it. But something about people who hate baseball, they just like making it known.
They do like to declare themselves, don't they?
They do.
And I hear you, and I quickly turn you and quickly dismiss you. When we come back, we talk Tigers and Tulsa tomorrow night at Chapman Stadium in Tulsa. We do that next on the Friday edition of Sports Time.
Hi, everyone. This is Greg Gaston. After 16-plus years coming to you during the midday hours, Eli Savoy and I have moved to the morning drive. You can join us weekdays from 7 to 10 a.m. for the all-new Sports 56 mornings, only on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I don't know about you, but as soon as I feel a hint of crisp, cool fall weather, I think of Sunrise on Jefferson. There's simply nothing other than the comfort food of Sunrise that makes you feel like autumn is really here. The signature square biscuits, the house-made gravy, the made-to-order fresh eggs and breakfast meats, or a lunchtime burger. They're all things to say relax, take it easy, you're in good hands. Swing by Sunrise for breakfast or lunch, and the rest of your day you'll feel warm, full, and happy. All because of fast, fresh food made with care.
You don't think about a lawyer until something goes wrong. When that happens, let attorney Stephen Leffler fight for you and your family. You don't leave the house in the morning expecting an accident, but it happens every day. A car wreck, you slip and fall, or you get accused of a crime and find yourself fighting for your reputation. Stephen Leffler has been fighting for you for over 35 years. Don't do it alone. Let Stephen Leffler fight your battles for you. Call Stephen Leffler, 901-527-8830, or go to LefflerLaw.com. Here to fight for you and your loved ones.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
There's a lot of things to like about October. The cooler weather, football, the start of basketball season, and of course the Memphis Zoo's Zootoberfest. Zootoberfest is now one of the best things to look forward to every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in October. Guests can purchase a commemorative stein to sip beer while they enjoy a fall afternoon at the Memphis Zoo. Just $12 while supplies last. Refills only $6. Must be 21 or older to purchase. It's Zootoberfest at the Memphis Zoo every Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 5 in October.
Saturday, October 16th, Landers Center South Haven welcomes Summer Jam, benefiting John 316 Ministries, featuring Grammy Award-winning Christian singer-songwriter Crowder. Summer Jam, October 16th with Crowder.
Come out of sadness from wherever you've been. Come broken.
Summer Jam with Crowder and Andrew Ripp.
Good God Almighty.
Your attendance makes a difference, with proceeds to help keep the John 316 program free to any man with drug or alcohol addiction. Get your tickets now at landerscenter.com for $15 or less than $20 at Ticketmaster. Summer Jam at Landers Center, October 16th, with Grammy Award-winning Christian singer-songwriter Crowder.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me.
This weekend, let me make a suggestion to you. 2 weeks ago, Bryant Dacus and I did it before the Tiger game when they were at home, but even though they're on the road, it's still a great idea to keep Belly Acres in mind. Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the entire family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. And a great third location very soon on the way. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef, sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. And service, excellent. The burgers like the Dairy or the Double Dairy and the melt in your mouth, and you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. Also good. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. 2 great locations with a third on the way, Overton Square and in Regalia. The goal at Belly Acres is to become even more sustainable as they grow. The very best quality available in Memphis. Burgers, shakes, and smiles at Belly Acres. So your concern level, Bryant Dacus, for the Tiger game tomorrow night, how high? Tulsa last week thumped by Houston 45-10. The Tigers gave away another one against Temple. It's a team that easily could be 5-0. What's your concern level? How nervous?
I'd say 5 or 6. I think, like you said, they should be 5-0.
Much higher than that, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because of the crowd size at Texas at Texas San Antonio. And the Thursday night game, I'm afraid a third straight loss. It'll be a very poor crowd coming up this Thursday night. I think it's big, and that's the pressure Ryan Silverfield's under.
Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure, and, I mean, we've seen this offense. It's a very young offense, and it's going to be a big game for them. I think Alan Bell said it right. I think Memphis is the better team in this game. I just think there's some factors that kind of swing it into Tulsa's favor. I know they're the number 3 passing offense in the American. Memphis has the worst passing defense in the American, and also Tulsa has controlled time of possession in a lot of their games. I think out of the 5 games, they've won time of possession 3 times, and that's something Memphis has struggled with. So I think there's some things that Tulsa does a lot better than Memphis, and I think they're just going to have to figure out ways to slow them down.
Philip Montgomery in his 7th year there, and he's off to a rough start. They could be thinking about a change if they don't win. And no change at all at the University of Memphis, but it's always pressure. It's every single week. And for Ryan Silverfield right now, the heavy pressure of having to deliver, to impress whatever you have to impress in the whole conference realignment jive.
Yeah, and that's – it just makes these games so much bigger, and you just want to win because you know that there's always that thought in the back of everybody's mind of if we keep winning, if we keep looking good, maybe the Big 12 will expand again and we'll be next there. So that's what kind of makes some of these losses more deflating, because you don't want to lose to a Temple, a team that's not really, conferences aren't really looking at them as a team to pull into their conference. That makes those a little more defeating.
Yeah, today's probably not the day to go into it, and maybe not even in season. But the conference realignment, as I called it, jive, is starting to feel a little bit to me like that foolishness for a lot of years of chasing the NFL. You can't do this. Do not do what I'm getting ready to suggest. But you almost want to get to a point and go, to heck with all y'all. We're going to be ourselves. We're going to do our thing, and we're not worried about it. If you don't want us, up yours. You cannot do that, though. do not take that as advice.
Yeah, and it's just, we've talked about it before. I mean, just all the money with TV deals that are being thrown around and this idea of power conferences and getting all the best teams in the best conferences. I think it's making it more of a show than really getting these conferences together.
And the case can be made, yeah, you could go through, for sure, the Mississippi State win, maybe even late in the victory over at Jonesboro against Arkansas State, a common opponent among these two teams. Tulsa, that's their only win. That was the Tigers won that game. That was their second win to start the season 3-0, including opening day against Nichols and then the win against Mississippi State. But you could make the 5-0 case. You could do some different math otherwise. Is it about where it really should have shaken out, 3 up, 2 down?
I think so. I think I can't remember what we all had them at. I think we all had them at 9-3, 8-4. But I just don't think these were the games that people expected them to lose, and I think that's what makes it a little more worrisome.
Yeah, I had the Tigers in the preseason defeating Nichols and defeating Arkansas State. And then I hadn't been right since. I got those two correct. I had them losing to State. They won. I had them defeating UTSA. They lost. I had them defeating Temple. I think everybody had them defeating Temple, and they lost. So I've got 3 big red X's on my AAC preseason schedule. I'm yet to see yours. I still haven't seen. I hear about it. I mean, I think finding the Dead Sea Scrolls may be easier than finding Bryant Dacus' preseason grid that I gave him, because I just can't get a copy of it from you, can I?
No, you can't. I'm not going to lie. I forgot all about that.
4-4, top of the 7th between the Southsiders and the Houston Astros. 4-4 in that one. 0-0. Braves and Brewers really just getting underway, getting ready to start the bottom of the first. Coming up later tonight in the MLB playoffs, Red Sox at Rays at 6:02. Make sure it goes off at 6:02.
Yeah.
And Dodgers at Giants at 8:37. We'll talk with Thomas Harding about 5:10 now, Bryant. He sent me a text that we'll visit with him. But we've got a lot to do, including starting the second hour with our friend from the Goal Sheet. That's Bruce Marshall. He's up next on Sports Time.
Farmers want to make sure you got your favorite things covered and will give you a discount for doing it. Their auto multi-policy discount gives you up to 45% off your auto insurance for bundling policies like boat, motorcycle, RV, home, and life. It's just one of the many ways that you can save with Farmers. Call Daniel Chad Gallen at 901-235-1176 to learn more or get a quote.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policies subject to terms and conditions. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges, Farmers New World Life Insurance Company, or affiliate.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Five Ash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, everyone. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. The NFL is here, and FanDuel Sportsbook wants you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. This week is a great opportunity to give it a try. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook and get up to $10 back if your bet doesn't win. If you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, simply sign up today with promo code GASMAN to also receive a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. Must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund is $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states, on mobile devices, and the web. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
At Napa, buy a 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 motor oil and save $10 on a pair of wiper blades. It's the perfect autumn deal. Mobil 1 for colder weather, new wipers for the rain, and an extra $10 to buy Halloween candy you'll most likely eat yourself. We're not judging. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. At participating locations does not include taxes and fees. Advertised sale price not available in some states. Ends 10/31/21.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood, or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Gabe Kuhn back with us on Monday. Long scheduled Friday off for him, but off to a wedding. He'll be back with us on Monday at 3 o'clock again. Bryant, the job you guys did, and y'all did everybody. I said, do whatever you want. I'm going to like anything you do. The rejoins, everything, every tone hit perfectly. Great job, guys. Great job.
Yeah, and a lot of credit to Gabe. Gabe came in with a bunch of ideas, and a lot of the music was on him, and it sounds great.
And anything but Phil Collins, especially Phil Collins' Genesis with him at lead singer and on drums. Mm-hmm. Very rare combination, too, in most musical acts, to have the lead singer on drums. I like Bruce Marshall with us every Friday afternoon at this time. And we've talked a lot about the Tigers and living, and Dave's got to live on Tulsa time tomorrow night. Bruce Marshall, tell us what time you're living on.
Well, I'm in somewhere where nobody's heard of Paul Feinbaum. In Lugano, Switzerland. Right now, I got in here today. Quite a trip here through Houston, London, Zurich, and then down here. But grandbabies are here, so I'll be here for the next 2 weeks.
Very nice.
Thanks to the internet and thanks to the phones, it's just like I'm across the river from you in West Memphis. So there you go.
Bruce, you sound great. Sometimes we have people joining from downtown at FedEx Forum. It doesn't sound this good. you sound great. So they've never heard of Paul Feinbaum, huh?
No. And even if they saw him here, and Paul Feinbaum makes an impression, they wouldn't know who he was. But it's like, they talk. They're talking soccer and they Formula One and everything else. A lot of soccer, but. College football, just for us who can get onto the internet here, and everything is like back at home.
We didn't plan it this way, but since it has a soccer connection, Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Memphis time, at the home of the Hotspurs in North London, Tottenham. Break down that game for us.
Yeah, well, I think the fact that Jets actually won a game means that they can come back through customs and not be denied now next week. So they've got a W. Zach Wilson, his effort last week allowed Jets fans to dream a little bit because he looked pretty good in that win against the Titans last week. But therein, I think, lies the tricky part this week. Do we really trust the Jets to go out 2 weeks in a row and play like that? We know the Titans can play down to the level of the opposition. And on the other side with Atlanta, I think it's getting pretty desperate here for the Falcons. They've been in position. They could have won that game easily last week, and they didn't against Washington. Matt Ryan gives you about as big of an experience edge over Zach Wilson as you can have at quarterback in this league. We've seen some signs that maybe Arthur Smith's team is going to be able to come around. I would give Atlanta a shot here this week, mostly because you're sort of playing the contrarian from last week. I don't trust the Jets to do this 2 weeks in a row. You've got the Ryan over Wilson angle. And the Falcons, I still think, have a little bit more upside left in this season than the Jets. 24-17 Atlanta, so I think the Falcons do get a win. Even if they have to go off of the continent to do it, they'll take it. Heck, they'll play anywhere if they can get W, and the Jets give them that opportunity.
Goal sheet says 24-27. 24-17
Falcons.
24-17 Falcons, hometown product, Arthur Smith to get the W. If his dad can deliver packages over there in about a 10-hour notice, he can deliver a win. He can deliver a win way over there. All right, let's go from Switzerland to North London to Tulsa late tomorrow night. Tigers trying to avert a 3-game losing streak. We hadn't had to have that conversation around here in a long time. They are an underdog to, I think, a pretty poor Tulsa team.
Yeah, Tulsa's found ways to lose. Interesting here, Tulsa's not covering games at home like tomorrow, and they have been covering games on the road, though, so this has been pretty odd. Tulsa's slight favorite. Here's the other thing. Under Ryan Silverfield, Memphis does not have a point spread cover as a visitor yet. They did cover in the bowl game last year, but as a visitor, they don't have one yet. 2-4 straight up in true road games since Silverfield took Mike Norvell's place. Not good last week. We saw what DeJuan Mathis and Temple did. 35 completions. That was a record for Tulsa for Temple, and we'll see if Davis Brin can do something like that for Tulsa. That should be music to his ears this week. But one of the problems Tulsa has had is that Brin has not received great protection this year. He's thrown a few too many picks. In fact, he's thrown way too many picks. He's thrown 8. That's the worst in the nation. So I think this is a week where Memphis actually gets a win on the road. I think Seth Huntington has more playmakers, and Brin's mistakes have been costly for Tulsa. 37-31 Memphis. And so much-needed win it would be for Memphis, and finally gets him that road point spread W as well.
Good deal. Tigers get back on track with the win, Bryant.
Yeah, so I wanted to start with a text we got from the AutoZone text line. We got a texter who wants to know about the Tennessee-South Carolina game. He's wondering if the spread is a little inflated for the Vols after that blowout win against Missouri.
Well, that's one way to look at it. I happen to think it's just about right. In fact, maybe I think it's too low because I like Tennessee a lot here. I think what we saw last week, Missouri was cooked in that game midway through the first quarter. It's taken Josh Heupel about a month, and they weren't running tempo that much early in the season, but they are now. I mean, that was UCF type speed last week. He had also been juggling the quarterbacks because of injuries. Milton was in, then he was out. Hooker was in, then he was out. Then back to Milton. Now back to Hooker, who looks really comfy back there. I'm going to tell you something. This is a team that I could see down the road here giving Alabama and Georgia some fits because they're playing them both within the next month. Alabama's just a couple weeks here. With Hooker being so comfy now and the pace they run, South Carolina is going to face the same dilemma as Missouri. That they play better defense than Missouri does. So I think that we got to acknowledge that. But I'm on the Tennessee side right now. I'm going to ride them for a bit here because, like I said, they are now. It's fully operational, that the tempo game that Josh Heupel wants. 41-22 Tennessee. That's actually a Gold Sheet key release tomorrow in Knoxville.
Goal sheet key release, big orange, pretty big. You texted me earlier in the week. I hope you don't mind me sharing our text exchange. You said, Brett, you better be ready for the Lane Kiffin homecoming next week in Knoxville. That's next week for Lane Kiffin. This week it's Lane versus Pit Boss. Arkansas, the underdog after the upset win last year at Fayetteville. The score, it was a little bit closer than the final score actually indicated with the late pick for Arkansas, but they still got the win. Arkansas tomorrow about a 5.5-point underdog early at Vaught-Hemingway. How does the goal sheet see Razorbacks and Rebels?
Yeah, Brett, I mean, this is the recuperative powers are going to be tested for each of them, and Arkansas went, we talked about Tennessee when it plays Georgia in a couple of weeks. Arkansas did the wrong thing against Georgia last week. You go mano-a-mano against these guys, you're not going to win. And that was painfully obvious to Arkansas. But nobody's got a defense like Georgia, and certainly Mississippi doesn't. And I think that's a question we have about Ole Miss. At least I do. Coming out of the game last week, they got pushed around again. This looked like last year's defense for Lane, and it was Alabama. So maybe we can give DJ Durkin a mulligan for last week, but I mean, we had thought that was pretty much upgraded, and I'm not sure how much upgraded they are now. I mean, we'll find out this week. But remember that game last year, Barry Odom was doing some stuff that really either got into Lane's head or Matt Corral's head for sure. He threw 6 picks in that game last year. And so that's something else that Ole Miss has got to contend with. And let's not forget, Sam Pittman is even the loss last week. He's still 11-4. Overall versus a spread. 9-4 as a dog since he took over Arkansas last year. 31-30, Ole Miss, our score forecast there. I think it's going to be a barn burner for you guys down there in Oxford, and it will be I think, plus the points, though. This is a spot. You can take Arkansas plus the points. There's enough cushion in there. They might not win, but, boy, that 5.5, 6 looks pretty big from the odds makers.
Goal sheet says a classic tomorrow at Vaught-Hemingway. You know, Bruce, I know people have to have a worldview. You got to stand for something. You have to have a philosophy in anything. You can't just kind of be the heat of the moment. If you're a power team, you can't come out there with 5 wides, and vice versa. If you're 5 wides, you can't all of a sudden, if it's not going well, let's go to the wishbone. I understand all that, and I'm fine with that. And I have been accused a lot of my life of being very hard-headed and not much on change. But I hear these coaches say, I have a philosophy, and we are who we are, and we're not deviating it from it. And I'm going down the analytics sheet. Well, Bruce, if I got out here on I-55 at the Batesville exit and I'm driving to Jackson, I wouldn't set my cruise on 72 and go, I'm never touching it, no matter what. I'm gonna set it on 72, and whatever is in front of me, I either plow through or I go around. You got to change every now and then, don't you?
Sure. I mean, it's like
That's
boxing
coaching.
too. It is coaching, and Pittman didn't do that last week. Maybe he learned a lesson.
Nor did Lane.
Nor did Lane against Alabama. You know, it's sort of like boxing. I mean, you don't go in there against a big puncher and just try to punch with him. You try to tire him out. What did Ali do against George Foreman? What did Jimmy Young do against George Foreman? Tired him out. That's
rope-a-dope.
Deviate a little bit. Yeah, rope-a-dope. You got to deviate a little bit, and neither of these teams did that like I was thinking they could last week. So let's see. It's another game this week. We'll see who comes around. This is a crucial game. Somebody's coming out of this game with 2 losses, and then all of a sudden, we're talking about the Camping World Bowl instead of, right now I think it's Florida New Year's games for one of these two. That's what they're still aiming at, but they may have to shoot lower. Whoever loses this one.
I always like to crush the old Poulan Bowl for nondescript bowls. Go ahead, Brian.
There you go.
Yeah, so going over to a team that Arkansas beat earlier in the Red River Showdown between Texas and Oklahoma, an early game, 11 o'clock. What are you thinking in this one?
Well, like Icarus here, flying too close to the flame, too close to the sun or the flame for Oklahoma. And one of these days its wings are going to melt. I mean, you can't keep playing these close games every week. And I know, a win is a win is a win. Yep, I know. And they've got 13 in a row now. But darn it, I mean, they're asking for it. What we saw last week from Kansas State against Kansas State was Spencer Rattler turn into more of a game manager. That's a change. And he wasn't the gunslinger Rattler that we expected. And it hadn't really been working that much earlier in the season for Lincoln Riley. So a subtle change there. But first of all, this series has been really close. Texas had covered 7 straight of these games in the Cotton Bowl. One year they played in the Big 12 title game in Arlington, but 7 straight in the regular season until last year. But it took 4 overtimes last year for Oklahoma to finally get over the hump. And Oklahoma missed a field goal at the end of the third overtime, which would have given it the win, but Texas another spread cover. A lot of that was Tom Herman, but went back to Charlie Strong, too. The bottom line is Texas plays Oklahoma tough, and I think Sark's got the better team here. And we got off the scent a bit in the Arkansas game early. We didn't know how good Arkansas was, but we've seen Texas continue to improve. Hey, listen, the win at TCU last week was big. It got over a hump and exorcised some demons on the Texas side. Casey Thompson's a playmaker at quarterback. Bijan Robinson is running like Earl Campbell. I think Texas gets them 35-30. Longhorns, and that would be devastating to Oklahoma's Final Four hopes, but that's what I think is going to happen in the Cotton Bowl tomorrow.
Hook 'em at the State Fair on the fairgrounds at Fair Park tomorrow. That's a great game. Bruce, I know you love any time to go spin with the Grands. If you haven't ever been to Red River, you got to do it, but while you can. It's something to see.
Yeah, I've been to the fair the week of the game. I haven't been to one of those games yet. Well, they're still playing at the Cotton Bowl. They may move this thing to Jerry World in a couple of years, so yeah, that's on the list for sure.
Oh, please don't do that. Please keep Georgia and Florida and Georgia and Jacksonville at the old Gator Bowl and keep this one at Fair Park at the Cotton Bowl. And the Cotton Bowl Stadium, I said it earlier in the week, it's never, the old gals never looked better. I mean, there were times in the 80s that it was pure D, a dump. They've poured the money into it really just for this game. Bruce Marshall with us on Friday afternoon. So far, he's picked Memphis plus the points, Tennessee laying the points, Arkansas plus the points, Texas plus the points, and Atlanta in the NFL. We'll get more NFL picks from Bruce. This year in the NFL, just picking with us on Friday, Bruce is 8-1 with us. Picking college football on Friday afternoons, just games we throw at him. Not many of his preferred plays. He's 20-11 for a lusty 28-12 with us on Friday afternoon. Bruce, that's a great September into early October. With that, maybe the all-time game at Niall Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City tomorrow. Iowa laying 1.5 at home, 3 o'clock on Fox Central Time against the all-white clad Penn State Nittany Lions. What a classic game for the Big Ten.
Yeah, it is, Brett, and they're sort of looking at each other the way they're playing. Defense, I mean, one's allowing 11 per game, one's allowing 12 per game. That's why my recommendation in this game is going to be under the total, even though it's not all that high. But I can see this game being played in the teens for sure. So it's going to be under the total 41.5. The defenses are real each way, and it's going to come down, I think, well, mistakes, obviously. That's a cliche that is often used, but it will come into play here. But which of these quarterbacks is going to be able to make one or two more big plays than the other? I don't know that Spencer Petras tries to make that many big plays on the Iowa side. And this is how Kirk Ferentz knows he's got to do it this year. It's defense, field position, and don't let your quarterback beat you. And so that's what he's doing. I think Sean Clifford, the other way, is a little bit more likely to make a play. He's also a little bit more likely to make an error than Petras from Iowa. But this is the Mike Yurcich offense in there, and there is a little bit of a sharper edge, I think, on the Penn State side. James Franklin's also won 9 games in a row since losing this game midway last year when it was obviously the abbreviated season and Penn State started so slow. But I think maybe Penn State gets them, but the under is going to be my recommendation here. 17-14 Penn State, but my call here is going to be under that total at Niall Kinnick Stadium tomorrow.
So the goal sheet play is the under, okay? Penn State, Iowa, under. How many?
41.5 roughly.
Okay, 41.5. That's what we'll call it. Brian, I know you got a pick, and then we'll ask about some NFL.
Yeah, I just gotta ask you about this game before we get to NFL. LSU in Kentucky. Kentucky looks red hot right now. Mark Stoops really has those guys in a good spot, coming off a Florida win. But the line is only 2.5 for Kentucky at home. Am I missing something? I mean, that just seems so small.
Well, no. Well, there's a couple things here. Glad you brought this game up. I have a new thought. By the way, it's the first time Kentucky's been favored over LSU this millennium.
Oh,
you
wow.
got to go back to Jerry DiNardo, 99, when LSU was an underdog in this game. So this millennium, Kentucky's only been favored over LSU in hoops, never in football until this game. I have a new theory. We talked about it last week in that NC State game. When a student body rushes the field, go against that team the next week. Here we go, Kentucky. They rushed the field after beating Florida last week, and they got Georgia on deck. Listen, Mark Stoops has done a really good job, maybe a great job, but they got to have everything go just right to win. And it's a ball control. It's a low-risk offense. Levis can throw better than Wilson could last year. But you saw them actually have trouble that earlier game against Chattanooga. It's running the ball with Chris Rodriguez, not making mistakes, and letting your defense carry the torch. That's fine unless you deviate a little bit, make a mistake or two, and it might not work. LSU has got to balance the field a little more. They're looking like a Mike Leach offense. They're not running at all with Joe Brady's disciples now calling the shots for this offense. But I think Coach O is going to circle the wagons. He loses this game this week. The War Drums start beating it. You know the way it is in Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to win this game this week. And I think they will, and I think you're catching Kentucky in the right spot after a hugely emotional game last week. LSU can go in there and win. 22-19 LSU. That might LSU and an under as well in that game. We like the under in the Kentucky-Florida last week. I'm liking under pretty good in this one as well.
Whoa. LSU plus the points and the under. LSU straight up over Kentucky. Why not? I won't say aversion. Why not the more embracing on coaching, hot list, short list, AD list? How come Mark Stoops not on them, Bruce? Is he too boring?
Yes. In a word, yes, and that's regrettable that a lot of these schools would think it is a shame. But that's, I think, the reason why, just because they're not that exciting. Although I thought the Lynn Bowden team 2 years ago was plenty exciting, and just because you're running the ball like they were, that was fine. But I think that has something to do with it. They're fine with that at Kentucky. I mean, and he's got it going pretty good there, where he wouldn't go relief for just anything. But I think that's probably a reason why.
On a list at LSU, if something had to happen with Edwards' run, would Mark Stoops make a top 20?
Maybe not, just because LSU would be one of those looking for some sizzle.
Got to be exotic. Yep.
Yeah, got to be exotic. Although Coach O wasn't, but I mean that was an odd thing, just the way they moved. That's what can happen sometimes. When you have an interim coach, you can win enough, and you have to keep him. Besides, they were going for Tom Herman that year too, and they didn't get him, and they decided to fall. Orgeron ended up being a fallback, so they probably wouldn't look at Stoops. No, I don't think they would. Your favorite NFL game on Sunday? Carolina, short 3-point favorite over the Eagles. Bounce back week for the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey's still not ready, but Sam Darnold has put up some pretty good numbers this year. I'll give him sort of a mulligan for the Dallas game. Dallas is pretty hot right now. I think the Eagles are not sure Nick Sirianni is ready to be an NFL head coach. That game against the Falcons was an outlier in the opener. Jalen Hurts only has a handful of starts in the NFL. Just taking mistakes galore. 44 penalties. Come on now. In 4 weeks, they had about 3 TDs taken off the board last week against the Chiefs because of penalties. They are sloppy to the max. And Carolina's Matt Rule, I think, will beat Sirianni this week. 33-20 Carolina. That's my pick of the week in the NFL. NFL pick of the week, the Panthers minus 3.5 over Philly. I have a texter now telling me that you went 7-2 last week in the NFL, in college football. I cheated you out of some games, and Bruce, I know how I did it. I threw the sheet away by mistake late Friday night in Birmingham and had to piece together in my feeble brain your picks, and I think that's how I did it. So it's even better than advertised. I didn't even remember that. I kind of forget them after I'm off the show with you. So if you say so, whatever you say is good by me. And that same good friend that asked me that wanted me to ask you about tonight's games. Which game in particular? Yeah. I guess Cincinnati, the Bearcats, right? No, Stanford tonight. Stanford's plus almost 2 touchdowns at Arizona State tonight. That's a great spot for Stanford. David Shaw's beaten Oregon and USC as an underdog this year. And Herm Edwards, I know he beat UCLA last week. 1-7 his last 8 is chalk and Tempe. He's laying almost 2 touchdowns here tonight. Stanford wasn't any worse than Oregon last week. They can go down here and win. Wouldn't shock me at all. And by the way, did you notice Stanford brought back the old Jim Plunkett uniforms last week? I loved them. And Randy Vitaha. Don't leave Randy Vitaha out, Bruce. And Randy Vitaha, yeah, that's right.
And the good linebacker Jeff Seaman that made the play on the goal line to stop Arkansas from winning the game on opening night in 71.
Yes, that's right, and that's Hillary Shockley and all them. That great game, and John Ralston. But I think Stanford has got that. This is the sort of game Stanford can not only cover, they can win. You're getting almost 2 touchdowns. That's my play for Friday night.
Stanford plus the 13.5 against Arizona State. Texter wants me to ask you about Charlotte tonight on the road against FIU. Charlotte 3-2, laying the 3.5 on the road. You got a funsy pick on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think Butch Davis has got to start thinking about if he wants to fish or play golf. I think this is going to be it for him. 34-26 Charlotte. I think they can go in there and win. Will Healy, by the way, here's a coach. Keep an eye on him.
I agree.
They're talking about him. If Coach Cutt retires at Duke, they're talking about bringing Healy in. Just keep an eye on that situation, but I think Charlotte wins this game tonight.
Bruce, I'm sorry to broach this subject with about 30 seconds. I'm very sorry because we're really short on time. But I threw this out, I think, more off the air than on the air this week. Why wouldn't they, if LSU's got to make a change, why wouldn't they do something like this and they could package and sell it as it worked the last time we went out of this area, out of this Southern football footprint, somebody that didn't look like us and didn't sound like us? Why couldn't they go after a guy like the guy at Boston College and sell the outsider with a fresh perspective over we got to find somebody, that we know and we like and he looks like us and he talks like us?
Well, that's sort of what Mississippi State did too with Dan Mullen, although he had been at Florida, but he wasn't a Southerner.
He did it with Joe Moorhead too.
That one didn't work.
Yeah.
But no, I think that would. But one more name to watch. Watch this guy Kane Womack at South Alabama.
Oh yeah.
Have you noticed what Indiana has not been doing this year? Is winning.
Playing defense.
He left that staff.
Mm-hmm.
They're not playing defense, and he was the reason they were winning. I think the last couple of years, and he's doing a really good job in Mobile. So keep an eye on his name too.
Bruce, from Switzerland to Memphis and all points in between, how do they get more information from you and about you?
Yeah, check us out online at goldsheet.com. Hey, we have internet world travel, laptop. I can do it anywhere in the world, which I'm doing it this weekend. So I'll produce it over here. What the heck? And all the games, college, pro, we write them all up this week's issue. Goldsheet.com, my picks are there, as well as the Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Bruce, you are the best. Enjoy the Grands, enjoy traveling, be safe, and we'll do it again next Friday, and good luck this weekend.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thank you much.
Thanks,
you guys. Bruce Marshall with us every Friday afternoon from the Gold Sheet. So a lot of picks there, mostly college from him. If you haven't noticed, we're getting mostly Alan Bell at 3:30 with the NFL, and mostly with Bruce until we get later in the year, mostly college. Those two tonight, Stanford and Charlotte on a Friday night. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I like him. And I think he was absolutely right about that Stanford pick. I like the Stanford team right now.
And we'll make our picks at 5:30 when we do our First National Bank Friday football forecast. But coming up next, when we return from this break, we will visit with our good friend, longtime producer, longtime co-host, longtime and still friend of ours. Drew Barrett will join us from Northwest Arkansas, where he is now at the ESPN affiliate in Fort Smith. We'll get his thoughts and all the conversation that they've had this week on Razorbacks and Rebels. We'll also get his Tigers pick, his beloved Tiger pick. We do that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with Mizuno irons and wedges. The JPX 921 Hot Metal Pro, Tour, and Forged irons offer Mizuno's fastest ball speeds ever. And the new T22 wedges feature 4 different sole grinds for varying techniques and conditions. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
When you're watching the Tigers play or whatever team you support, you always look for the end result, the winning score. And when you're thinking of selling your home, the ultimate goal line is the closing table. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. Getting your home sold for what you want and when you want it makes everyone happy. You should talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers when you're thinking of selling your home, and make sure I'm one of them, especially if you want results. Most people have heard that when you want the job done, done, you need to call Shell Done. Call or email me today and find out about my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shell Bucks option. You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Done Rosengarten. Call today at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. And go Tigers!
With the help of Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond, I get everyone's morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. That's how I set the rhythm for a great day. Look for Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
Working at Gateway Tire is not just a job, it's a profession. They're looking for career-minded people who want to advance their career in the auto industry. With 5-day work weeks, paid vacation, insurance, 401k plans, and much more, you'll enjoy their hometown approach to customer service. Come by and make Gateway Tire and Service Center the right step for your career.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
At 5 o'clock, Thomas Harding from MLB.com, about 5:10, he would join us from on the field at Oracle Park, getting set for Dodgers and Giants tonight. He was going to join us at 5, but he needed a little time because he's got somebody he's visiting with about 4:55 or so that could stretch into that. And he's got real work to do by people that's paying him. So we understand, don't we, Brian?
Oh, of course.
And we look forward to catching up with the great T.H. Thomas Harding at about 5:10. We always look forward to every Friday visiting with our friend Drew Barrett, long-time Sports 56 98.5 employee and co-worker and good friend, and now in Northwest Arkansas with ESPN Radio in Fort Smith. He covers it all up there. This week, Razorbacks and Rebels. Drew, how long did it take the fans to get over what happened at Athens and start looking forward to the trip to Oxford, or did they?
I think ultimately, I'd say half of them, it took 5 seconds.
Nice.
And we're ready to move on. Wanted to crumple up the box score and move on to
throw the tape away.
Ole Miss week. And the other half were kind of what you would expect, doom and gloom of, we're not very good. This isn't going to work out. We're still not there. And to those people, you just kind of want to shake them and be like, look, Georgia's one of the top 2 teams in the country for a reason. The matter of fact that, it was kind of silly for all of us to actually think that our little old Arkansas could have hung with them this early in Sam Pittman's tenure. But here's the
I kind of did.
I know,
and I thought the same thing about the game in Tuscaloosa, and it was a 2x4 across the face for me last Saturday, really for both of those scores.
Mm-hmm. It was, but here's the thing that I've been talking about, and a lot of other people have been talking about all week, and I think you can apply it to Ole Miss as well. With Sam Pittman coming from Georgia, obviously you saw the love and respect that so many of those Georgia players and that coaching staff had for him. He was a crucial part of building what they have now. That big monster line's not that big monster line that's able to push everyone around the field at their own will without Sam Pittman, and I think you can even translate that into Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Now, it's been a little bit longer of a separation since he's been Alabama, but he's got the blueprint, just like Sam Pittman's got the blueprint from Kirby Smart. And you almost can feel proud of, yeah, we lost 37-0, or we lost 42-21, but that's our future. Like, if they know how to do it their way, and their way can become our way, yeah, we're not there yet. But key word there is yet.
So KJ Jefferson, we saw him get a little banged up against Texas A&M, was able to play against Georgia, now going back to his home state of Mississippi. What is his health right now? Is he close to 100%, at 100%? What's he looking like for this week?
Well, from everything that we've heard, and, obviously Sam Pittman and Kendall Browse isn't going to let us into the medical staff, and they're not going to let us look at x-rays and all the other tests, but from everything that we've heard, KJ should be as close to 100% as a guy can be going into week 6. There's always bumps and bruises and strays that every college player has to go with, and it seems like the numbing gel that they had for his knee worked pretty well against Georgia. If he ever had some time back there, we might have actually seen what he could have done. But from all accounts, he should be healthy. And you talked about how he's coming home, went to North Panola High School, just 30 minutes up there at Sardis, right outside of Oxford. And that's been a big conversation of KJ coming home. And, we talked about it a lot earlier in the year of all the Texas guys that are on the team and how big of a deal it was to them to beat Texas. Now, KJ didn't get his nose turned up to Adam by Ole Miss at any means, but it's still a game that he's had marked on his calendar that he's wanted. He's obviously wants to win, not just for his team, but for himself, his family, and everybody else there in attendance. So as long as he's as healthy as we think he is and has been reported, he should be ready for a big game.
KJ Jefferson, the only player from the state of Mississippi on the Razorback roster, and just one Arkansan on the Ole Miss roster, and that's Jaden Jackson from Bentonville West. He's from Centerton, Arkansas, but played high school at Bentonville West. This rivalry goes way back. It's a lot of the most famous Mississippian to ever go to Arkansas was Lance Allworth. Ole Miss had K.O. Dotley from McGee, Arkansas, had Charlie Flowers from Marianna, Arkansas, a long time ago for Lance Allworth. They were all kind of in that stretch together. It's not many of them do that. Jaden Jackson from right there in the Razorback footprint, KJ Jefferson right here in the Ole Miss footprint. So it will be something to see how motivated he is. This week, I know y'all had a fun charge. We got the cocktail party. We have the Red River rivalry, Red River shootout. We got these names. We have Iron Bowl. We have Egg Bowl. We have names for all these games. We have a lot of trophies. We have the Boot, and we have the Magnolia Bowl. We got a lot of this. Arkansas and Ole Miss has never had that fixed to them. Did y'all settle on anything? And then I'm going to tell you why there's not one.
Well, we had probably over 100 different suggestions and comments of what the name should be. A lot of them were about the same, and most of them, surprisingly, always seem to center around the Delta or the Mississippi River being the main dividing line between the schools. We narrowed it down to 10. Your suggestion of the Battle of Lance Allsworth's Soul did make the top 10.
Very good. Yay.
It unfortunately did not make the top 3.
Well, Drew, that's the story of my life, is finishing about 7. So that doesn't bother me at all.
Well, I do want you to know, out of over 100, yours did make the top 10. So,
well, again,
that's proud of.
That's about me. About the top 7 out of 100. That's got to be. Here's my 2 cents worth on why. Neither fan base, and I know it well, and I know it well, and I love it. I've been in the deep water of both ends of the Arkansas Ole Miss pool, and I love it. I love it. They don't want to recognize the other one as mattering.
I can see that. I really can. I think it depends on what side, especially on the Arkansas side. It depends on what side of the state you live on. Where, according to Little Rock, do you live? Are you
Great point.
East,
Great point.
Northeast, Southeast?
You can't make somebody from Mountain Home care about Ole Miss. Now, Far City and Helena, yeah.
Yes, of course. I mean, all the way up to Jonesboro. I mean, even down, it's a little bit more thinner, but even like closer down towards El Dorado, down in South Arkansas, it matters. Anything to where the drive to Oxford and Ole Miss is shorter than driving to the Hill in Fayetteville. It matters, and it's big for we have Arkansas listeners, Arkansas fan listeners in Memphis who text us and call in and give us their opinion on the Razorbacks on a weekly. And to them, it's their Super Bowl. And we have one guy out of Paragould and near Jonesboro who this is what he saves up money for every other year. So that
I'm surprised
have
by that.
A good time and enjoy his time in Oxford.
Because that's getting stretched out there geographically, and it's a great old rivalry. I say it every year. I'm going to say it tomorrow on pregame, and I always preface it with, it is a couple of lifetimes ago. But there was a time where that was Arkansas's biggest rivalry, before the whole Texas thing, a long time ago. And, it was Ole Miss's biggest rivalry ahead of LSU or Mississippi State a long time ago. But both sides just really don't want to elevate the other one in any type of ranking that this game matters to them. And I don't get that, because it's fun now. The Memphis connection, the Mississippi Delta and the Arkansas Delta. But we also know how population has shifted from there. Let me be fair. I said Mountain Home doesn't give a darn about Ole Miss. Moss Point and Gulfport don't give a darn about Arkansas.
I'm sure they don't. I mean, and it's the exact same way, which is why a lot of our suggested names, the majority of them did come from the eastern side of the state, because it does mean a lot to them. And, like I said, most of them had to do with river, Delta, mud, stuff like that. Then the one that ultimately won, and I'm going to need your help to push the T-shirts. And if
you got it. I want in on the lucrative T-shirt market. You know I do. You know I've always been here to sell Tony Allen T-shirts. You know that's why I do radio.
Oh, I know you, and that's why I made sure that I got you on the ground level, because today when we picked the name, I clarified on the record that I wanted 10% royalty, and out of that 10% royalties, I'll give you 2%.
Thank you, Drew.
So
Man, that is. I'll do it. What's the name?
The name that ultimately won, Muddy River Mayhem.
Muddy River Mayhem.
I
we
like
can
it.
Go with it.
Yeah.
Brian, we can make this work.
I think we can. I think it's very marketable.
Perfectly on a T-shirt.
I mean, if we could only get Tony Allen to garble those words like he did all heart, grit and grind, we might be on to something.
I mean, it'd be golden.
And it's why I got in radio, is to sell T-shirts, Drew. I mean, it's just a natural. Brian, I know you want to jump in.
Yeah, so Arkansas, they're in the middle of a tough stretch of their schedule. Texas A&M, number 7 Texas A&M, number 2 Georgia, number 17 Ole Miss, number 18 Auburn. Right now, you're 1-1 in that. What do you think would be a good, when you get to Arkansas Pine Bluff after these next two games, what do you think a good point would be at record-wise after these two games?
Well, a good point that I think a lot of people are obviously hoping for, especially in the SEC, would to be 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that 100% likely? Well, probably not. I think it is a big 50-50. It's a coin toss this weekend with Ole Miss, and it all comes down to who. It's not really who can stop the primary offense of either team, right? You think of Ole Miss, you think of passing, you think of high scoring, you think of Matt Corral slinging the ball around. That's not what Arkansas needs to stop. Arkansas needs to stop the ground game, because if they can make Ole Miss one-dimensional, they have a shot, especially with only rushing 3, dropping 8, can show different looks. And if you're Ole Miss, we know Arkansas loves to run the ball. We know the live and die by the ground game. But if you can take away Traylon Burks and you can take away Tyrese Morris and anybody else on the outside, and KJ has nowhere to throw it, then that's how you stop Arkansas. It's kind of weird. It's kind of the opposite of we got to stop the best thing they can do. No, you got to stop the second best thing you can do and make it one-dimensional. So if either way team comes up that way, I think it's 50-50. We're going to learn a lot about Auburn this week at Georgia. Hopefully you feel a little bit more confident if Georgia goes out there and wins, 38-0 or a little bit north of that.
Yeah, you can live with what happened.
Yeah, you can definitely live with what happened, because you know that, now we 110% know that Georgia really is on that Alabama level, right? So then you're starting to think, all right, Auburn's on our tier. It's another 50-50 shot. And, you feel a little bit more comfortable playing against a quarterback like Bo Nix than you do against Matt Corral. So I think even if you lose this week down in Oxford, yeah, it's going to be disappointing, but I think you can live with it as long as you bounce back with a home win over Bo Nix and the Auburn Tigers.
Drew, that is really sharp analysis, because next week in Fayetteville, and then the game against UAPB in Little Rock, and then open date, and then Mississippi State and Fayetteville. So it's not skies falling if the Razorbacks were to lose. We got a couple things we want to get in with you. I want your Tiger pick, but first, and I told you, I didn't warn you. I told you, and I told you in a favorable way, how much the Razorbacks mean to their fans, how much they are loved. Has it surprised you?
It really has. And I'll tell you the best example, and it's something I told a guest that we have on every Friday, Aaron Torres. He covers national college football, but definitely loves covering the SEC. And I told him that we were talking about Florida and how the sky seems to be falling down there after Kentucky. And he's like, I can never wrap my mind around how big of a monster the SEC is. And I told him, I was like, Aaron, I grew up in the middle of SEC country. Now, was I an SEC fan? No, I was a University of Memphis fan all my life, proud alumni, still very big fan. I didn't truly understand what the words "it just means more" until I truly got engulfed into
People
this.
are going to think I put you up to this with you saying that. People are going to think people are going to think I made you say this, Drew.
Hand to the Bible. If you want to go to ESPN Arkansas, hit thatline.com, go to Halftime Podcast, go to the 42-minute mark, and you will hear me say the exact same thing today. You do not know truly what it means of "it just means more" until you are engulfed in it and you're there. Because from an outside perspective, you always think of the SEC schools it's overreaction. It's just one game. It's one play. It's one thing. No, that one thing is everything.
Everything. Live and die. All right, tomorrow night, give us your plans. Are you scooting over to Tulsa for Tigers and Golden Hurricane?
Yes, I am. I will be over in Tulsa. The girlfriend is actually on the road headed to Fort Smith, and we're going to take the 2-hour trip over to Tulsa to see the Tigers play the Golden Hurricanes. And obviously a little disappointed after Temple 2 back-to-back weeks of having being up 3 scores in the first half and ultimately losing by a field goal. But this has to be a good bounce back. And, Tulsa, it was weird last time, you played at Tulsa.
Very.
Missed field goal back in 2019. So, hopefully you can get some luck that way. Hopefully you don't have to need it. And the thing for me is it just feels like on both sides of the ball the last 2 weeks, and I only got to see probably 3/4 of the Memphis game due to the fact they're playing at the same time as Arkansas, but it just feels to me they're being way too conservative, taking the foot off the gas as soon as they start to build a comfortable lead. And I saw it in person against San Antonio. So if they can keep their foot on the gas and not relent, especially on the defensive side, the play calling just seems way too conservative. It's almost not really. It's bend, don't break, but it's let's bend. So if defense can be a little bit better, you think, and you think the Tigers can bounce back. So I'll do what I did every week that I was on Sports 56. I'm going to go with the Tigers against any spread, and I will.
Heck yeah, I expected you to, but I liked your analysis of the Tiger game, and I think you nailed it on a little, maybe too protective of that freshman quarterback. Cut him loose a little more. Drew, y'all have fun this weekend. Be safe, and we'll visit next Friday.
I appreciate it, Brett. You have a great weekend, and enjoy Arkansas, and don't forget to go say hi to my co-host Phil tomorrow.
And I will, and I can't wait till we cash in on Muddy River Mayhem. Did I get it right?
Yes, Muddy River Mayhem.
I love it. Thank you, Drew Barrett. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Brett.
You got it. Drew Barrett with us every Friday afternoon from ESPN Radio in Fort Smith. We need to get Drew's girlfriend to take him some commissary. I know that's what he wants. We need to get her set up to take up some commissary to Northwest Arkansas up to Fort Smith. You can go to either commissary, either the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Memphis-style barbecue. The ribs, everything, shoulder, everything, so delicious. It screams Memphis because they cook it slow. They take their time, and that's the Memphis style. Walker Taylor and his team, they have just about perfected it. Start that barbecue feast with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos, where they were invented in the early 80s at the Germantown commissary. The ribs so good, the shoulder so good. Don't forget the party pack, 6-pack, 8-pack. Or 12-pack for anything on the go this weekend, for game watching, for tailgating in the Grove tomorrow, tailgating tonight out at high school football. That's where you need to start at the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Coming soon will be time to get on the list for the Holiday Bird. We'll tell you more about that as it approaches. Always save room for the great desserts, like the lemon icebox pie and the terrific banana pudding. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. If you're craving that easier way to order, start your order at commissarybbq.com or text commissary to 33733. Text commissary to 33733. It has been done right, and it's been done well by Walker Taylor and his great team at the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, and, of course, the original, the mainstay in Germantown. When we come back, we'll look at the baseball scores, and we'll look at some top 25 college football action for the weekend. That's coming up next on Sportstime.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There's a lot of things to like about October. The cooler weather, football, the start of basketball season, and of course the Memphis Zoo's Zootoberfest. Zootoberfest is now one of the best things to look forward to every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in October. Guests can purchase a commemorative stein to sip beer while they enjoy a fall afternoon at the Memphis Zoo. Just $12 while supplies last. Refills only $6. Must be 21 or older to purchase. It's Zootoberfest at the Memphis Zoo every Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 5 in October. Hi, folks. I keep hearing about a shortage of good vehicles to purchase these days. Well, I can fix that. Just follow me to Auto Universe Germantown. I was blown away by the amount of high-quality vehicles they have. Something they call affordable luxury, and I would agree. And talk about variety. How about Lexus, Infiniti, Audi, Jeep, not to mention, but I will anyway, Mercedes, Nissan, Honda, Chevy, and Toyota. Tremendous pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, and they're always adding more. Hey, I know this family. They have everything we want under one roof. No haggle, affordable pricing, simplified financing, top service technicians, even collision repair. Remember the old Mazda location in Germantown? That's where they're located, 7300 Winchester, and online at eautouniverse.com. So take it from me, if you want to avoid the new car price but still want a luxury, slightly loved vehicle, head on over to Auto Universe Germantown. Would I steer you wrong? Get it? At Auto Universe Germantown, only the best make it here.
Installing brand new carpets shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Enjoy a simplified installation experience at the Home Depot by licensed local professionals with an unbeatable selection of affordable styles, colors, and fabrics that are durable and low maintenance, including options that are odor and stain resistant. And right now, you can get your carpet installed for free. Get started today at the Home Depot. Free carpet installation on purchases of $4.99 or more. No square foot minimum. Excludes in-stock styles. U.S. only. See store for details.
Taqueria Express has a new location at 6290 Winchester with family deals every day. Mouth-watering chicken tacos, only 99 cents. 3 tacos with rice, beans, and fresh guacamole, only $6. And incredible signature dishes with chicken or beef chimichangas and homemade tortillas stuffed with fresh beans, rice, and cheese on top. If you're hungry, try Taqueria Express's gigantic Macho Burrito. Homemade with fresh flour tortilla and you choose beef, chicken, pork, or shrimp. Includes beans, rice, melted cheese, lettuce, tomato, and sour cream. Fajita fans try Taqueria's delicious chicken or steak fajitas. Big enough for 2 people and only $10. If you're thirsty and want something unique, then try Taqueria drinks made from scratch like melon and pineapple. Margaritas are buy one, get one free, and they got a little kick to them. For real Mexican food, Taqueria Express, 6290 Winchester. We'll see you guys there, and don't forget those strong margaritas. Buy one, get one free. Working at Gateway Tire is not just a job, it's a profession. They're looking for career-minded people who want to advance their career in the auto industry. With 5-day work weeks, paid vacation, insurance, 401k plans, and much more, you'll enjoy their hometown approach to customer service. Come by and make Gateway Tire and Service Center the right step for your career.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Top 25 action around college football tomorrow. It really gets started early. We get started tonight with some games. Cincinnati hosting Temple, 30-point favorite. The Bearcats are. Stanford at Arizona State. We talked about that with Bruce Marshall, and Arizona State being on upset alert last night, 52-20 over in Jonesboro. Coastal Carolina, number 15, they won handily. Starts early tomorrow morning with Red River, number 6, Oklahoma against Texas. That is, and then at 11, also Arkansas, number 13 at Ole Miss. Georgia, number 2 against number 18, Auburn. That's the 2:30 CBS game. Boise State, just 2-3. They play number 10 BYU. That's at 2:30 on ABC. And the big one, and I think this weekend is a Big Ten weekend more favorably with the matchups, Bryant, than the SEC. Penn State at Iowa, number 3 versus 4 Iowa, hosting number 4 Penn State.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that one. I think, we've seen both teams play really well against ranked teams, and so it'll be interesting to see what they can do against one another. And I know Cincinnati, if they get another big win tonight, I know they'll be watching that game as they're right outside that top 4. With one of those teams losing 3 or 4, they can maybe see themselves in the top 4.
I think either Sam Pittman or Lane Kiffin would come at you with claws out if you suggested this to them. But for the winner of that game tomorrow, just with some, even on the lighter end, upsets in college football, just some natural attrition, I think Arkansas could move up with the win 2 or 3 spots, and Ole Miss could move up 2 or 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, I definitely could see that, and we've talked a lot about this game and how big it is for both teams, and when you're getting closer to bowl games, I think you said it best earlier. I mean, these games are big deciding factors of going to one of those big bowl games and just going to another bowl game.
Out of respect for Sam Pittman and out of my own safety, I'm not going to suggest it to either one of them. Hey, you can move up the AP poll. On the list of why they want to win that game, I'm going to guarantee you that's way down there.
Yeah, it's probably not very high. But, I mean, don't you think at least the players have got to be thinking about it, right? Just a little bit?
Yeah, just a little. I think they think about it on Sunday afternoon when the new poll comes out, and then not a lot of thought given to it. Then we get into the time of the year that the college football poll gets released, and then that one matters. LSU at Kentucky tomorrow night. Kentucky, a 2.5-point favorite over LSU. 2 years ago when LSU was doing what they were doing, we would have never believed they would go up to Lexington and ever be underdog to Kentucky. Alabama and A&M. A&M a little bit playing for the old moral victory, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yay! $9 million for we stayed close to the Tide. They weren't at all factoring that in preseason.
No, I wasn't factoring it in preseason.
Final hour this Friday edition, it will start with Thomas Harding out on the left coast in San Francisco for Dodgers and Giants, that historic Major League Baseball playoff matchup, first time ever in the postseason. We know of the playoffs. They are the 2 out of 3 that they had to play in the most famous one at one time. And at 5:30, the First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. So a lot to do. Stay with us right up to 6 o'clock. Bryant Dacus with me. You're listening to Sports Time.
The Relax at Home sale's going on now at Family Leisure. Enjoy a game of pool. How about shuffleboard with friends and family? Relieving aching muscles with full body massage chairs. They're the coolest. Chill out and watch a movie. Or the big game in style with the new theater seating. Also on sale, we got spas and saunas and patio furniture. It's the Family Leisure Relax at Home sale. Going on now, I-40 and Witten Road, Family Leisure. Where family and fun come together.
It's football time in Memphis, and if you or someone you know is thinking of selling their home, it sure better be home selling time in Memphis. And just like you may have a favorite team, favorite coach, or favorite players, you may not have a favorite real estate agent. If you don't, think about drafting me, Sheldon Rosengarten, with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I always tell people they need to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers to find out who will be the best quarterback of their home selling team. Have you heard people say that when you want the job done, call Sheldon? Find out why my award-winning, highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. Also find out how to take advantage of our worldwide relocation network. Call or email me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now and go Tigers.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Brett, things in the restaurant are fine, but like all restaurateurs will tell you, things are still not back to normal. Supply chains are interrupted. 1 week we can't find charcoal. Another week we're short on ribs. Another week they can't find the plastic bottles to fill our sauce jars with. I've watched in awe as our fellow Memphis restaurateurs have worked their way through these past months.
John, always new and exciting things at the Rendezvous.
People know we have Greek salad, vegetarian red beans and rice, and vegetarian nachos. But now we have desserts. Miss Barbara of O Taste and See has individually wrapped some wonderful desserts. We have key lime pie, chess pie, chocolate chess pie, and pecan pie. Not pecan pie, pecan pie. We also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Burgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pin, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
football picks, baseball talks, a look at the NFL, and much more between now and 6 o'clock. Stay with us all the way through the finish line. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel, and I love telling you about FanDuel, and I love having this app locked and loaded and ready every weekend. NFL Week 5, it's here. It started last night in FanDuel Sportsbook. They want you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet. That's with 3 legs or more. And if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. I like Justin Herbert to throw all over the Browns. I'm going to build my same-game parlay with Chargers money line, Nick Chubb over, and the under total points in the fourth quarter. Also, if you just want one more, if you want to add it in, Baker Mayfield. I'm worried about his health status, maybe his passing yards going under. Fast payouts, easy to use, safe and secure. America's #1 sports book, that's FanDuel. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in today. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, you can also claim your 30-1 odds on either team to win in the Monday night game when Indianapolis plays in Baltimore. Just sign up for promo code CASH, and if your first bet loses, you get up to $1,000 back in site credit. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and on the web. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Thomas Harding from MLB.com will join us in about 6 minutes to talk the Giants and the Dodgers in that historic matchup. We'll take a look at the other afternoon baseball. Zip right now, Atlanta and Milwaukee, and the other one will surprise you. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and look at all the beautiful cars and check out the testimonials and the many happy referrals. Very pleased customers through the years at DeSoto Auto Sales. Every make, every model. If somehow they don't have it on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. All the cars thoroughly examined. You walk in, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. They care about your time. Within 45 minutes, you can test drive a car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee. It's that simple. They know we live in a world today that time matters, and that's why they keep the process simple for you. At DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Brian, I know this is master the obvious, but in these best 3 out of 5 divisional series, and it's a little bit of an argument to expand, but we can't play it until Christmas. I mean, we want the wild card games expanded from not just being a one-gamer. Some want the divisional series. I'm kind of okay with 3 out of 5 there, and forever going to keep the LCS and the World Series at 4 out of 7. There was a time in baseball history that the World Series was best 7 out of 9. Did you know that?
I did actually. We've talked about this off air. I'm taking a baseball class at the University of Memphis, and we talked about that.
From Reggie Williams, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Did you tell Reggie I said hello?
Well, see, it's an online class. I told him that I do the show, so he does know that.
Well, good.
So, yeah.
Really good man. So master the obvious. You can't get down 2-0.
No, and
3 out of 5.
No, and looking at what the Astros did to the White Sox, you got to be very, very worried if you're the White Sox.
I'm worried about our friend Isaac Simpson. He loves his White Sox, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm worried about my brother. He's a big White Sox fan.
Oh,
might need to text him and make sure he's all right.
How did you let that happen and him not be a Cardinals fan?
Well, it's more he just wanted to be opposite of me, and he didn't want to root for the same team I root for, and so he just became a White
signed
Sox
up
fan.
for this one then, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And 9-4, Astros get the win. They're up 2-0. Look at Dusty Baker, up 2-0 over Tony La Russa. No love lost there. TLR's a big boy. But the White Sox hired Tony La Russa to cash in October. They had a guy that could get them to here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody was talking about is this team can win. It's Tony La Russa is going to be that guy when it comes playoff time. Now down in this hole, I mean, I guess he could bring it back, but it's going to be tough for them.
9-5 Astros, 2 in the second, 2 in the fifth, and 5 in the seventh. and they get 9 for the White Sox, 1 in the top of the first, 3 in the top of the fifth, and then blank the rest of the way. And that game pretty rapidly played down in Houston. Well, 3 hours and 52 minutes, not too rapid, but for postseason baseball, a lot of commercial breaks, isn't it?
Yeah, they like to draw out that and get all that money, don't they?
I'm a firm believer in commercial breaks, though.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking them whatsoever. Right now, 0-0 Atlanta and Milwaukee. That's going into the bottom of the fifth, so some really good pitching there. 6:02 tonight. Red Sox at Tampa last night. Everything about that goofy ballpark came into play last night, didn't it? The
did.
C level, the B level, the catwalks, everything. And the good side of it, it was rocking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, it looks like they were able to get over that bridge.
That bridge, man. Bridge over the River Kwai is not more difficult. The Remagen Bridge wasn't more difficult.
Yeah, I don't want to see that bridge.
No, Red Sox and Rays tonight. That'll be Chris Sale against Young Baz tonight, all of 22 years old for Shane Baz.
That's
tonight.
A big moment.
Born, not just, newly minted 22,
yeah.
Born 6/17/99 in Houston, Texas. High school, Concordia Lutheran, Tomball, Texas. Shane Baz tonight on the mound for the Rays. Late tonight at 8:37 our time, 8:37 p.m., Dodgers and Giants, and we hope to talk to Thomas Harding about that coming up momentarily. This weekend, a lot of decisions have to be made, and one's the food decision. And I've got a good suggestion for you. I got a good suggestion for you year-round for a big catering project, and that's Jason's Deli. Any of these locations will get you squared away on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Always can check them out at jasonsdeli.com. They like to say bringing more to the table. It's a family thing, a variety of delicious choices for breakfast, lunch, and all-day meals for groups of 5 or 5,000. Low delivery fees. Call your local deli for the details. Vegetarian and gluten-sensitive options, same-day and last-minute orders, they're welcomed. It's no such thing as too late in the day. We better not bother them. That they want to be bothered. That's what they do, and that's what they do so well. Trans fat-free food. Jason's Deli, all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, or you'd like to build your own with the invent your own sandwich. You can. You'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. Great salad bar as well. And if you're in any of these locations like Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, the free ice cream for anybody at those locations. Anytime, anywhere for the catering. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. We're trying to catch up with Thomas Harding with MLB.com. He said it would be about a 5-10 thing for him. We know it is historic with Dodgers and Giants, that great rivalry taken all the way out to the left coast a long time ago now. They've been out on that left coast a long time, but meeting for the first time in the playoffs. I know some will go, I know they've played, to decide the National League pennant way back with the Bobby Thompson home run. That wasn't even just one game. That was a best 2 out of 3. That's how they decided it when it was just the National League pennant winner or American League doing that. It was still not a one-gamer, and this will not be either. This will be 3 out of 5, and Thomas Harding does join us now from MLB.com, and it's great to have Thomas Harding on the airwaves in our market. Thomas, how are you, sir?
I feel good. I feel clean. I'm just here in San Francisco. I'm actually covering the Giants-Dodgers series.
Love it.
Trying to kind of keep an eye on things going back there in Memphis with the football team, and I guess Penny's getting some recruits in there for basketball.
Yeah, Penny's got some recruits in. They're going to be really good. I said I'm not going to put any pressure on him. I'm not going to pick him to go 31-0, so I just went 28-3 preseason. Thomas, I know coaches love that, don't they?
There you go.
Some clown on the radio picking you to go 28-3. Thomas, tell us about this series that you're going to cover starting tonight. Dodgers and Giants. I was for my Cardinals, but Dodgers are the best team. This is the way it should be.
Well, I don't think the Dodgers are the best team. I've watched them all throughout the year, and I thought the Giants they may have been the best team in baseball this year. Dodgers, at times, you could see a lull in their bullpen. Thing the Dodgers can do is hit a home run and make a difference in a ball game like they did against St. Louis. But it seems like the Giants, they've pitched better. They've managed their roster just slightly better. We're only talking slightly, but are these the two best teams in baseball? I see them as two of the best three, because when I saw the Houston Astros, I saw a team that to me looks like the winner of the World Series coming up. So there you have it first, the Houston Astros.
So you just talked about it a little bit, how the Dodgers have kind of struggled at times hitting the ball. The Giants have some really good pitching. We saw the Dodgers, they won the game the other night on 2 home runs. Do you think they're going to be able to get that hitting back during the season, or do you think that the Giants' arms are going to be able to shut them down?
Well, I think the Giants' arms are going to be able to shut them down for the most part, but that element is still there, and playoff games tend to be tight. And I was having this conversation with some baseball folks that nowadays in the playoffs, where a lot of times the starting pitcher doesn't go very long. He goes for a few innings, and then you bring in a bunch of guys that throw 100 miles an hour, or you bring in a starter, so you replace the starter with a starter. It is very hard to put together 2 or 3 hits in an inning and get a run. You have to be able to do something special to get that. Obviously, the home run is a big part of it, and I think the Dodgers still have that element in their pocket all the time. You have to do something special, and if you look at the game against the Cardinals, they put them. Cody Bellinger put himself in scoring position by stealing a base. They stole a couple of bases, not off Yadier Molina, but really off the pitchers. But they're always looking for something like that. So if you cannot hit consistently, and I think the Dodgers, they don't quite have the strength of lineup that they did in the past, but if you're not hitting consistently, if you can knock the ball out of the ballpark, that's the way you take a playoff game.
Thomas, you've seen them all. I haven't come close to seeing them all, but I did see Oracle Park a few years ago when Ole Miss, when we played out at Berkeley, we went to a game out there. Of all these new great ballparks, and you got a great one that you work at quite extensively at Coors Field in Denver. Where does Oracle Park rank of the ballparks?
It's in the top echelon, and one of the reasons is because the Giants are winning right now. I think this place is going to be packed again. When this thing opened, I think it was packed Ballpark way back. It's had a few names in its time. When the Giants are doing well and this place is packed, and I know they had a long sellout streak, it's a hard place for an opponent to play. It's a great place for the fans here. The fans are kind of on top of you. I mean, in the press box, we're right at the top of basically that first bank of stands behind home plate, and it gives great atmosphere. And I guess if you're higher up, and where I sit, unfortunately, I don't see it. It's a beautiful view out there of McCovey Cove. It reminds me a little bit of Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh is rarely full, but that park, with the river out front, not far from the confluence, with the river out front, when the Pirates were doing well those couple of years, that one ranks at the top of my list. With this one, with the one that we have at home, there are a few parks that are like that, and they've done a good job with this park. And one of the reasons why it's such a great atmosphere is, I'm not sure the acreage of this ballpark, but it's less than others because land is so expensive in San Francisco. So basically, they pack this park in, and when it's packed with people, it has a different sound than other places.
Thomas, of the newer ones that I've had the opportunity to go to, you nailed it. Pittsburgh and crossing that Clemente Bridge for me, and I texted our friend Mike DeCourcy when I was doing it. Man, it was spiritual for me crossing that Clemente Bridge. It almost broke me, and I loved being at San Francisco and seeing the tribute to Willie McCovey with the Cove, and to Willie Howard Mays with the statue out front of it. Thomas, I rarely have many great ideas, but I think I did when they opened this ballpark. Now, it's so very easy to spend somebody else's money, but why in the world wouldn't they get together and have named that ballpark the Polo Grounds at Ralph Lauren Field?
I'll tell you what, you've got a future in marketing, but then what happens when somebody else comes with a bigger check than Ralph Lauren?
You take it.
That's right. And then it's suddenly Oracle Park or something like that.
That's right. Thomas Hardy from Major League, but from MLB.com, he covers the Rockies in the regular season. He covers it all in the postseason. Postseason baseball, it's really special. Are you surprised Dusty Baker's up 2-0 rather easily over his old sparring partner, Tony La Russa?
No, I'm not. Part of it is he has a better team, and I'm telling you, it just feels like that is the best team going here. Pitching-wise, starting pitching, they have some arms in the bullpen that make a difference, but I believe that sometimes managers go away from their starters too quickly. Now, I haven't had an opportunity to see the games because those games are on when I'm working, but Dusty has the type of pitching where a guy can, he can save his bullpen until he actually needs it. I thought last year it really wasn't there, and I thought that the relievers did not do a very good job for him. But I think this team that he has now and this pitching staff, he can manage it the way he wants. And offensively, I have a hard time with holes in their lineup because I can't find any. I mean, I really can't. So, like I say, and I predicted on your airwaves that the Houston Astros will find a way to win the World Series this year.
Wow. So talking about the White Sox, we talked about it a little bit before we brought you on the air. Tony La Russa was kind of the guy they brought in to kind of get them further into the playoffs, and a lot of people had them going on these deep runs in the preseason as the season was going. What is going to be, what are people going to be saying if they can't make it out of the divisional series this year?
I think that there will obviously be criticism because of during the regular year, there were a number of cases where he kind of departed from his players. But I go back and I look at Tony La Russa, and whether you agree with him or whether you don't, and the Cardinals the players didn't always agree with him, he finds a way to get you to win ball games. I would have thought that the White Sox would be stronger. It seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like they kind of lost some steam late in the regular season, and you would like for a team, if they do lose a little bit of steam, to find a way to get it back, but that's hard to do. And it seemed like they lost some steam late in the regular season. They also played in a division that wasn't very good. So you didn't really know what to make of them. I consider this, with this group of White Sox, I consider it their first playoff, really, because last year in that expanded, weird playoff with no fans, I don't know what to make of that. So I'm considering this their first playoffs. Now, what do the White Sox do? Do they say, hey, listen, it's not working, Tony, let's bring in somebody else? It seemed like they needed an experienced manager, and they brought him in, and he won a division for them. I know Tony La Russa will want to manage next year. Some of us, I was talking with some baseball people, they think that in 25 years, Tony La Russa is going to find his way to manage a team. His hair will still be the same color. He'll still be the feisty guy. So I'm not one of those that's off the Tony La Russa bandwagon at this point. I think that, I think the baseball knowledge is there. I'm just not sure that this team is savvy enough to go deep into the postseason. I would, and you don't see that a lot these days, I would think about, hey, bring back the band again and then see what happens next year.
2 managerial changes already, the Mets and San Diego. How many more, and does it get to Aaron Boone in the Bronx?
I do think it gets to Aaron Boone in the Bronx. You mentioned one there with Tony, could it be with Tony La Russa? Frankly, I'm not sure there. What I'm hoping, too, is that people look and they see La Russa this year, Dusty Baker. Maybe managerial experience does make a difference. Maybe we see people like Bruce Bochy come back into this and manage a team. It's always been lately, the new name, the new guy. But the problem I've run into is I thought there were a number of managers who managed once and can't get a job back that I wonder how they'd be the second time around. A couple of them I'm thinking about, Walt Weiss, who's in Atlanta as the bench coach. He managed in Colorado, kind of a dysfunctional situation. The other one that I think he ended up managing in Asia somewhere was Matt Williams. And he had managed the Washington Nationals, and they ended up replacing him, I believe, with Dusty Baker because of the lack of experience there. And I know I've talked to Matt a few times that maybe some of the mistakes he made, and he did kind of overdo some things, was a bit overbearing. I think those mistakes would make him a better manager. So I'm interested to see if, first of all, some of the great managers, Buck Showalter, who I think has done a good job with a number of teams, and it's been unfortunate that he's left the year that they won the World Series, but Buck Showalter, could he manage? Certainly. And Bruce Bochy, who retired from the Giants, and he's a trusted advisor here, but he wants to manage again, and I have a feeling he's going to be in a dugout next season.
Thomas, I got to sneak in a Rockies question before we let you go. I know Trevor Story. He's on contract. His contract's expiring this year. What do you think he does? I know he said that he's thinking about coming back to Colorado, but he said he wants to go to a team that's going to make deep runs in the playoffs. But what do you think Trevor Story ultimately does?
Well, there is no doubt in my mind that Nolan Arenado has been in his ear all year about this. There also is no doubt in my mind that DJ LeMahieu has been in his ear. Those are the two teams, the St. Louis Cardinals and the New York Yankees, that I think he would end up with. You look at a team like the Rockies, and I know his hometown team, the Texas Rangers, they want to make a bid here, but one of the reasons why he is a free agent now is he's seen the Rockies situation where they had some very good parts together, and they made some mistakes in free agency. But unlike the Dodgers, who, if you look at their payrolls and you really dig deep into that type of thing, they're paying some dead money. I think Kenta Maeda in Minnesota, or wherever he is now, and a number of guys they brought in, they just kind of parted ways with them, paid them, and went off and paid other guys. Teams like the Rockies, they can't do that. Teams like the Texas Rangers, it looks like their pitching is a long way from being a winner right now. I just don't see him taking a step back. So when I look out there, I see the Yankees and I see the St. Louis Cardinals as two teams that, for me, would be the favorites for Trevor Story.
Thomas, thank you so much for your time. Best wishes for you the rest of October and into November in the World Series. Best time of the year, and hope we can catch up again. Thank you, Thomas.
Hey, I look forward to it again.
You got it. Thomas Harding with us talking baseball. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thomas, long time with the Memphis Commercial Appeal and a good soul now with MLB.com covering the postseason in baseball. And I think it's the best time of year. I love all the stakes we're playing for. This is when it matters, Bryant.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie. I like what he said at the end about Trevor Story.
You too. I like those thoughts. The Cardinals definitely need to add there. I don't think they could do much more damage next year if the team stays as it is. I think it'd be about a repeat, and that's kind of hoping if Milwaukee comes back a little. But even if they come back a little, they won that division with ease.
Yeah, and so and I think shortstop was kind of a it wasn't one of the strong suits for the Cardinals at all.
Well, Paul DeYoung, they moved on this year, and then Sosa the other night. What was going on with his glove?
I don't know. Me and Jay Morgan were talking about that during the game, and then the next day. I mean, it's like he had a hole in it.
And one time he whipped it. He kind of beat his glove. I'm going, I don't think it's the leather's fault.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, he's a young guy. Maybe the moment was just too big. I don't know.
He's another one I didn't really see in that position, but shortstop, something the Cardinals have to deal with. And Thomas made a good point about Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa had a range war with Ozzie Smith in St. Louis. If you can go to war with Ozzie Smith in St. Louis and Scott Rowland, you can go to war with any of those young White Sox players. White Sox down 2-0. When we come back, our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. That's next on Sportstime.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Memphis, it's official, honey. Crab Kings is where it's at. The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp, chicken, salmon, and fried lobster pastas. There's snow crab, king crab, dungeons, and more. Please don't forget about the calamari, shrimp, and lobsters, honey. The portions, the price, the taste is only at Crab Kings. Download our app and search Crab Kings on Google. Visit us at crabkingstn.com. Crab Kings, where the flavor is king.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood.
I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
With the help of Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond, I get everyone's morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. That's how I set the rhythm for a great day. Look for Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
Memphis's oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Stay tuned for Coletta's 100th anniversary coming up soon.
At Napa, we've teamed up with AAA to save you 20% online or in-store. That's why they call us the Savings Dream Team. Okay, we're the only ones calling us that, but it's true. Your AAA membership can save you 20% at Napa. So we're basically superheroes with the most specific power ever, saving you 20%. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. 20% off regular retail prices with valid AAA membership card. Offer good online at participating stores. Offer ends 10/31/21.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. They've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Curtis Gentry, Bill Samish, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763, or the office in Collierville, or online at fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you. They're a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I have had an account, been a friend, and been a customer my entire life.
Now proudly in West Tennessee with the office at Ridge Lake Boulevard and the office in Collierville, and growing and more coming soon from our friends at First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Stable, secure, solid, reliable, and the model of consistency through all these years. It's time to make some picks. Last night, you and Gabe off to a good start. Both of y'all nailing the Rams in a really good game in Seattle. We will have a lot of NFL games, but we start in college tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, bright and early. I love the early games, Brian. I know it's terrible on the opposing fans, and it's hard on the home fans, so I don't want to be that guy. But I like the early start. I like to get up and we get right to it, and we do tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. We come on the air on Sports 56 and 98.5. I'll be alongside Richard Cross from the Grove. We start at 9 o'clock. You can hear all that action all day long on our station. Ole Miss, a 5.5-point favorite over Arkansas. And Arkansas won in Fayetteville last year. And on a nightmarish day for Matt Corral, K.J. Jefferson returns nearby to home. Arkansas averaging 5.2 yards per rush. Ole Miss averaging 5.4 yards per rush. Someone has to establish the run game. 36-30-1 all time. Arkansas leads this series. It's been played in Oxford, Jackson, Little Rock, Fayetteville, Memphis, and twice in Sugar Bowls in New Orleans. John Vaught was 6-0 all time against Frank Broyles. Sam Pittman looks to go to 2-0 tomorrow against Lane Kiffin. Gabe Kuhn takes Ole Miss. Bryant Dacus.
I'm also going to take Ole Miss.
I take Ole Miss. Group lock. We tried that last week with Ole Miss against the Mighty Tide. How did that fare?
It didn't go very well.
Didn't go very well. We are 5-5 on the year in group locks, and we're going to try it again tomorrow. I say Rebels win. I say Rebels win 41-28. 2:30 on CBS. Georgia, a 15.5-point favorite on the Plains against Auburn. The Deep South's oldest rivalry. Georgia's won 9 of the last 11, 16 of the last 20, and for only the second time since 1936, Georgia and Auburn will play outside the month of November. It's going to continue outside of the month of November. They've gotten that off the schedule for those two to meet in November. 126 meeting. And this one on the Plains tomorrow. Brian Harsin in his first one against Kirby Smart that played in this rivalry and now coaching in it, and he has the second-ranked team in the country. Your pick, Bryant.
So last week I went against Georgia, said it was too big of a line, and it bit me. So I'm going to go on the other side this week, and I'm going to take Georgia.
You lay the 15.5 on the road.
Yeah.
On the Plains, not between the hedges, you take Georgia. I do the same. I take Georgia, but they get there barely. They get there 28-10. That'll be a white knuckler for the point spread, but all Kirby Smart wants is the W. Gabe Kuhn, he takes Auburn, so no group lock there. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, ESPN2, Tulsa, 3.5-point favorite over the Memphis Tigers. The game will be played at Chapman Stadium, formerly Skelly Field, in the best small town for sports I've ever been to. I love Tulsa and have had a lot of fun going to sports there. Philip Montgomery in his 7th season at TU, he needs a win. It's really the first inflection point for Ryan Silverfield. The Tigers lead the all-time series 19-11, 3-game win streak right now for the Tigers. They stole one 2 years ago. This game first played in 1961 in Tulsa, a 49-12 Tigers win that day. Give me Memphis. 35-34, but give me Tulsa plus the points. Tigers win, but they don't cover.
Tigers win, but they don't cover. I'm going to take the Tigers in this one. This is a game they need to win, except for, Memphis has had their troubles against Tulsa in both football and basketball in the recent years. But this is a game they need to win, I think.
No, I have Memphis. I'm sorry, I've messed this
badly
up. I get my points. I'm sorry. Tigers win 35-34, win everything.
Yeah,
Money,
I thought
everything.
I had that wrong.
Make it rain. Shoot the confetti cannon. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're on the same page. I'm going to take Memphis. I think they win it outright because they really need this win.
Help my old brain out here, Brian. I'm sweating the Wi-Fi down the last 24 minutes here, and I got you confused. Yeah, I know everybody's texting me the Tigers are underdog. I got it. I messed up. Yeah, Tigers win 35-34. Group lock. Gabe takes the Tigers. Drew takes the Tigers. Bryant takes the Tigers. We're all pulling for the Tigers to get back on the good route. Ready, and then the short week, getting ready really quickly with Ken Niumatalolo's Naval Academy team that comes to Simmons Bank Memorial Stadium on Thursday night. My college football lock, give me the Tide. After seeing what I saw last week, lay the 17.5 over Jimbo Fisher's Aggies. Your college football lock.
I went back and forth with this one, but I think I'm going to take Michigan State minus 5.5 against Rutgers. I've really liked what I've seen from Michigan State. Kenneth Walker from Memphis in their backfield. Rutgers hasn't been great this year. They started off really nice. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Only 5.5. They just need to win by a touchdown. I'll take Michigan State.
Gabe Kuhn, he lays the 3.5 and takes Boomer Sooner in Red River tomorrow. I think Texas wins that game, and then it's going to be pole attack for me. The whole transitive property thing. Are you ready? Either winner, whether it's Arkansas, that'd be the easier case to make. But even if it's Ole Miss, if Ole Miss beats Texas, if Ole Miss beats Arkansas, we know Arkansas beat Texas, then isn't Ole Miss better? And Ole Miss beat Tulane worse than Oklahoma beat them.
Yeah, I mean that's a long line and
it's a
web
stretch.
to But hey, I guess so.
But Arkansas, if Arkansas beats Ole Miss and Texas beats OU, when Texas zooms past Arkansas, and I'm predicting it, they're going to. I'm gonna have a fit Sunday afternoon about 1:15 when AP comes out. Gabe takes Boomer Sooner minus 3.5 over Texas. Gabe's college football shock. He takes Middle Tennessee State and all our friends on that staff there plus 19.5 at Liberty. Your college football shock.
I'm going to go with East Carolina plus 10.5 over UCF. UCF just doesn't look like the same team last week after losing their quarterback the week before. I don't think East Carolina wins the game, but I think they cover.
That's a lot of points. 10.5. You take the Pirates against Central Florida. Give me Syracuse plus the 6.5 to knock Wake Forest out of the ranks of the undefeated. I have Syracuse winning the game straight up, 26-24. So I love the 6.5. NFL, we picked last night. We got to pick early Sunday morning. 8:30 a.m. NFL Network, Atlanta minus 3.5 over the Jets in North London at the home of the Spurs. Again, 3.5-point favorite for Atlanta. 7-5 all-time Atlanta. They first met in 1973. Not at the home of the Tottenham Hotspurs, but at Shea Stadium with that cutout infield. Weeb Eubank versus Norm Van Brocklin. This time, 2 first-year head coaches, Arthur Smith against Robert Saleh. Quarterbacks were Matt Ryan against rookie Zach Wilson. In 1973, it was Joe Willie Namath against Bob Lee. Give me Atlanta minus the 3.5 over the Jets. Gabe takes the Jets. Your pick, Bryant.
I'm going with Gabe. Give me the Jets.
Noon, CBS, the Saints minus 2.5 at Washington. Washington leads all time 17-10. They've never met in the playoffs, and they won't this year. They first met in 1967 at Tulane Stadium. The coach of the Saints that day, Tom Fears, against Otto Graham for Washington. Sonny Jurgensen was the quarterback for Washington. Billy Kilmer, the quarterback for the Saints that day. They were later teammates for the over-the-hill gang in Washington. Give me Washington plus the 2.5. They win straight up, 17-14, but I'm taking them if you're giving them. Gabe does the same. He takes Washington.
Well, it won't be a group lock for this one. I'm going to take the Saints in a bounce-back game against Washington.
Sunday night football, 7:20 on NBC. Kansas City minus 2.5 over Buffalo. 2 original AFL teams. Kansas City, then the Dallas Texans. Lamar Hunt and Ralph Wilson, the founders of those teams. They're both Hall of Famers. Buffalo leads all-time 24-21-1. They're 2-2 when they've met in the playoffs. They first played in 1960, with it being the Buffalo Bills against the Dallas Texans. That day, Cotton Davidson from Baylor against old Johnny Green from West Point, Mississippi, and Tennessee Chattanooga is quarterback that day for Buffalo. Sunday night, it'll be Mahomes versus Allen. Give me the points, the 2.5. Give me Buffalo straight up 31-30. Gabe takes Buffalo as well.
I'm going to go with Kansas City. They've had a shaky start.
Contrarian.
Yeah.
I like the contrarian.
Yeah, and I was worried about it after I heard Alan Bell say Buffalo, but I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Stay right there and give me your NFL lock and shock.
So I'm going to go lock. I'm going to take the Titans minus 4.5. And then for my shock, I'm going to take the Lions plus 10.5.
You take the Lions plus 10.5. That's Gabe Kuhn's shock as well. I've tried enough of the Lions the last 2 years. I can't do it anymore. Gabe takes Lions plus 10.5, and his lock, Green Bay, minus the 3.5 at Cincinnati, and the tale of the veteran versus the young player, Aaron Rodgers against Joe Burrow. Give me Cleveland for my NFL lock plus the 1.5. I told you not to do this when you did it last week. I'm doing it this week, taking as the lock, the underdog. Give me Cleveland plus the 1.5 against the Chargers. I like Cleveland to win 35-21. In my NFL shock, give me San Francisco plus the 5.5 at Arizona, straight up.
Oh, wow.
Straight up, Niners, 28-27.
Ooh, that's bold.
That's something. Bold's one good word for it. 28-27. So that will be the end of the undefeateds in the NFL. That's our Friday football forecast picks. Brought to you by First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, by First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or call them at 901-498-5763. So down 2-0 for Tony La Russa. We know if they get swept, there will be people calling for him being out, and at his age, he might say, I did it, I got back in the postseason, why do this anymore?
Yeah, and I think Thomas,
at his age, he can do anything he wants.
He can do whatever. But I think Thomas made a good point. I mean, I think some people are forgetting about all the back and forths he had with players at the beginning of the year, and they had a good season, so people can forget that. But when you go, when you lose a 3-game series, if you get swept, I think those come back to light, and people definitely be talking, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he runs a little irascible, a little hot in good times. I was shocked he came back 10 years in between.
Yeah.
He stepped away a winner with the 2011 Cardinals when there were some moments in that series that people were questioning some of the decision making, and then to get back in. But he loves the White Sox ownership. Jerry Reinsdorf said it was the dumbest thing he ever did in sport was firing him back when he did to get him to Oakland and then later to St. Louis. And they had a good year, but they were expecting more. 0-0 Atlanta and Milwaukee now in going into the bottom of the 7th. 0-2-0 for Atlanta, 0-2-0 for Milwaukee. So pitchers duel there. When we come back, we wrap up this week. We wrap up this afternoon with Taco Bell Crunch Time. That's next on Sportstime.
Happy Hour has a new time. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour now from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with Mizuno irons and wedges. The JPX 921 Hot Metal Pro, Tour, and Forged irons offer Mizuno's fastest ball speeds ever. And the new T22 wedges feature 4 different sole grinds for varying techniques and conditions. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios. Grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers. Everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Installing brand new carpets shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Enjoy a simplified installation experience at the Home Depot by licensed local professionals with an unbeatable selection of affordable styles, colors, and fabrics that are durable and low maintenance, including options that are odor and stain resistant. And right now, you can get your carpet installed for free. Get started today at the Home Depot. Free carpet installation on purchases of $4.99 or more. No square foot minimum. Excludes in-stock styles, U.S. only. See store for details.
Working at Gateway Tire is not just a job, it's a profession. They're looking for career-minded people who want to advance their career in the auto industry. With 5-day work weeks, paid vacation, insurance, 401k plans, and much more, you'll enjoy their hometown approach to customer service. Come by and make Gateway Tire and Service Center the right step for your career.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Before we get to Taco Bell Crunch Time, Brian, update our listeners on all the games that we're carrying this weekend on Sports 56 and 98.5.
Yeah, so we start early tomorrow morning with Ole Miss and Arkansas. That starts at 9 a.m. with the pregame show. Then on Sunday, we've got Packers at Bengals at noon. Then Browns at Chargers at 3 p.m. Bills at Chiefs at 7 p.m. And then I know we'll talk a little bit more about this game on Monday, but we'll also have Colts at Ravens. That's Monday night. And as always, you can catch all those games on 560 a.m. and 98.5 FM.
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye, hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned. Nah, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream. Loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
So, Brett, I learned two things today. First, I learned this about 25 minutes ago. Kyrie Irving is going to be able to practice in Brooklyn. They came out and said that the practice facility is private property, so they can make their own rules about that. And so he'll be able to practice.
Wait, time out. Does COVID know that?
I don't know if he got word about that yet.
Does COVID know about a private entity? Come on now, where are we going with this?
I don't know, but I guess he'll be able to practice. Still sounds like he won't be able to play in games.
What a disease. It's going to be nice enough for Kyrie to practice. Come on now, people, please. I mean, strain incredulity on a lot of this. The virus is real. Mm-hmm. The virus has always been real. I've always taught it real, but we've got to have some consistency, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Second thing I learned is that we talked about J.R. Smith joining the golf team at NCAA earlier this year. He'll have his first golf match this weekend. And so he'll be out there playing.
Go JR!
Yeah, good for him. He he qualified for this tournament by 1 stroke.
Boy, don't you know the road trips are fun, JR?
Oh, man. Gotta be.
That's gotta be fun. I learned today in these divisional series, master the obvious comment here. Yes, I'm okay at math. In these best of fives, you better not get down 2-0. Game 2, it's huge, and then it puts you almost in a no-win position. Boston can't come back from 2-0 down. Tonight, 22-year-old Shane Baz against Chris Sale. 29,000 made it over that bridge last night. Goodness, what a horrible ballpark that is.
Do you think we see a similar number tonight?
Maybe even bigger. Yeah. And you know, now, what did we find out on the pricing structure? Did each individual or baseball set it? Who settled that for us this week? Did somebody?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard.
I thought we did, but whatever it is, I mean, look, it's the Boston Red Sox in the playoffs. I don't care if you got to crawl to the stadium. That should be packed, shouldn't it?
Oh, 100%.
And that's always been I'm for the Rays the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But I want them to draw. If you can't draw this time of year, then you can't draw. I don't care where the stadium is.
Oh, yeah. What I could have done without today, injuries in the NFL, we've gotten an update on Russell Wilson. It sounds like the Seahawks are planning on him to be out at least a month with that finger injury. And then also today we find out Antonio Gibson has been playing with a stress fracture in his shin. He said he's been able to play through it, but hopefully that doesn't get any worse and he can get back to 100%.
It's all my fault with Antonio Gibson. Remember my big screaming summertime he's going to lead the NFL in rushing this year?
I do remember that.
It's all my fault, isn't it?
Well, I don't want to put all the blame on you.
Well,
we'll put 80% on you.
Oh, 80. I got to shoulder some of the blame. Everything with Washington is kind of unraveled, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's kind of getting worrisome over there.
Yeah, it is. I could have done without Lance Lynn's performance yesterday, and I think Tony La Russa had that factoring in big for their postseason plans, and he was not very good. He got roughed up. The White Sox really haven't competed so far against the Astros. They got it tied today and then got thumped in the end, and it's been a bad look for them. Also, could do without this. Boise State, forever the darling of the G5. Yeah. Haven't they been? They were the original darling, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were the darling before Central Florida was just a glimmer in our eye. They can really be the spoiler at BYU, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, they really can, and I'm worried for BYU. I hope, I've as much as we talk about how dirty they are and how they don't play the game right. They are. But I've enjoyed watching them play this year.
Yeah, and last year when they had Wilson at quarterback, they always seemed to keep some good quarterback there through the years. Really way back when, back in the 80s, BYU was the first kind of model of that upset darling team when they won it back in the 80s. That's the only time in college football you can really point to a national champion and go, they won one. If they won one, anybody can. Maybe Colorado when they split with Georgia Tech. Maybe. But everything else, that's the name brands, and there's really no explanation necessary for why they won it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a good – we talked about all the good games. I think we talked about last week being a great week for college football. I think this weekend's going to be, if not better, just as good as last week, and that's going to be something I'm going to be watching this weekend is all those good games. I think BYU and Boise State's right there up top.
And we'll keep an eye on the baseball, divisional series in baseball. 4 games today, 2 tomorrow, 2 on Sunday. Monday's schedule is to be determined with those series if the games are necessary. The Rays, I think they have that look about them. In college football, AAC game for the Tigers in Tulsa. Ball security, critical for the Tigers. They, if maybe possibly could be 5-0 if they had just taken care of the football. They aren't, and 4-2, Brian, it sounds a lot better than 3-3, doesn't it? And we know the conversation that's coming if it's 3-3.
Yeah, and I need to know something, Brett. I know we talked back in the summer about how you don't watch summer league basketball. How much preseason NBA do you watch?
Not a second.
Well, what about the Grizzlies? Do you watch the Grizzlies games?
Not a second.
Oh, man.
And I pride myself that I've never been to a second. Couldn't wait till they got to town. I mean, in that first year, a lot of people were headstrong and going. I said, no, I'm not going to preseason basketball. And I feel about the same about preseason in NFL. But the Grizzlies, we will keep up with loosely everything going on around them. But when the season starts, it'll be very, very closely watched and scrutinized by us. Arkansas, will they live up to the September start? Can they line up and run the ball against Ole Miss? I think they will try to pound them early. Can Ole Miss load the box and maybe make KJ Jefferson have to pass? Can Ole Miss can't afford to have many quick outs on offense. I'm not talking 3-and-outs, but just quicker outs that the defense is back out there. The big guys couldn't even breathe last week in that game against Alabama because they were just on the field too much. Red River shootout tomorrow, bright and early at Fair Park at the Cotton Bowl Stadium. Michigan at Nebraska tomorrow night. You think Michigan's on upset watch?
Definitely. Maybe. It's Nebraska, so I don't know.
I think, I don't know if I can really trust Nebraska anymore. You got to show me instead of telling me. And Penn State at Iowa in the biggest game ever at Niall Kinnick Stadium, their Heisman Trophy winner from 1939. The Big Ten weekend really looks better than the SEC weekend. We'll see how it all plays out. Will be fun to watch all of these games. I won't have to set my alarm clock tomorrow morning. I'm ready to go right now. If we had to start pregame right now from the Grove, I think I could do it until kickoff tomorrow. I want to thank a lot of people like Alan Bell from CBS Sports, Bruce Marshall from The Goal Sheet, Drew Barrett from ESPN Radio in Fort Smith, Thomas Harding from MLB.com, and want to thank Bryant Dacus for the great job that he always does. Gabe will be back with us on Monday, so for Gabe in his absence, for Bryant, I'm Brett. Everybody have a safe, great weekend, and hope your team wins.